What's going on? What's going on, my good people? How y'all doing? Tune on in. Y'all know what time it is. Let me get some people on up in here. It's 7 o'clock. Y'all know where to be. It's 7. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Kenny, what's the word, bro? How you living? How you living over there, Kenny, man? Playoff start for y'all, dog. What you gonna do? You gonna turn up? Or what, man? Playoff start, man. Sunday. You only a few days away, man. Only a few days away. What you gonna do, man? I need to know. I need to know. Tom, what's the word, dog? Tom in the building. What's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all? Tom, how you living, man? What's going on with you? Let me know something. Everything straight your way, man? What's Houston gonna do this year, man? I need to know. Willie Jack. There we go. There we go. Hey, we're gonna get into it in the second time. We're gonna hit some coaches tonight, man. Oh, he back, baby. He's back,
man.
baby.
Yeah, man.
Hey, sometimes you gotta hit him with that okie doke, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it was so crazy though. I just took my my last braids down early today. Then I thought about it like, oh damn, I got the show today. I should let them rock for one more day.
It's all right, dog. Hey, we rocking it, man. We going out. We going in style. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Hey, Tom in the building was the word. Hey, yeah, he know what's going on, man. Tell her, hey, she been slacking, bro. She slacking. Said my sister, she gone.
Yeah, she gotta come get you right. She gotta come get you right, dog. You
know but wait, so Tom was the first one to go today.
Actually, Kenny fell in. My dog Kenny fell in. Then Tom fell in right after him. He was right there.
Oh, okay.
He was a close second. I'll tell him. I'll give you that.
Okay, mine ain't showing Kenny. It just show Tom and then Miss Chop in the building. What's going on, sis?
Yeah, she in the building. You know what I'm saying? She in the building. She rolling on in. Hey, it's all right though, man. It's okay, Willie Jack. We're gonna get you right, man.
It's all good.
We're gonna get you right, man. But hey, man. How was your day today, dog?
Man, it was straight, man. I can't complain about it at all, man. It was straight. Still got too many things to do and not enough time to do it, man. But that's everybody's story could be sound like. So I ain't gonna complain about it.
I got you. Josh, what's going on with you, bro? Hey, Josh, get Black in here, man. Get him in here, man, so we can go on and get this out the way. You know what I'm saying? I owe him something, so I'm gonna go and pay him back. Josh, get him in here, man. And your sis on your head, boy. Your sis is on your head, Willie Jack.
Oh, me? Oh, man. Hey, look. Man, I had a conflict with my stylist. You know what I'm saying? It was a scheduling conflict with my stylist. You know what I mean? It sometimes be like that.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do every once in a while, man. It's all right, though.
Matter of fact, no, it was time for y'all. It was time for y'all to see the new growth anyway, though. It was time for y'all to see the growth. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was.
Hey, but you know what? It's all right, man. Don't let these haircuts, you know what I'm saying, distract y'all from this knowledge we about to place on y'all. We about to lace on y'all heads. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that distract y'all, because we're going to still give y'all that no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it, Willie Jack. Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop, here with my main man, Willie Jack. And y'all know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock, so you know where to be. We tell y'all every week. And if you ain't in here, then you must be being, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're doing, but you need to be in here.
Smoking bath salts on that stuff.
They own something. They own something, you know what I'm saying? So they need to be in here. If you ain't in here now, you need to be in here. Tune on in to your boys, man, as we we lace y'all with this with some of this news and some of this latest information, man. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into it, and we got a nice show, another nice show for y'all today. We've been doing preseason positional rankings. We did QBs, running backs, wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? We decided we're gonna switch it up this week, man. We're gonna come with something different. I think this is the first time me and him done something like this. We talked
That's
about
true.
it. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? We are mentioning it here and there on different episodes, but this time we're gonna jump right into it, man. We're gonna talk about the coaches, man. Going into the 2022 season, we're gonna rank the top 10 coaches that each one of us has. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into a little bit of the explanations and everything. So we're gonna go into it. Josh, man, we might hit some Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Steelers in here, man. You know, they might be. You know what I'm saying? We might throw them in there a little bit, but that's to be determined. You stick around. You know what I'm saying? And you may hear your team name. You know what I'm saying? But you know Willie Jack in here, so you know he gonna hit him with it. You know he gonna hit him with it. But yeah, Willie Jack, let's go ahead and jump into some news, man. And of course, I'm pretty sure everybody heard the latest news. But we're gonna jump into something else first. So let's go back a little bit, man. Of course, as you all know, we lost former NFL wide receiver Demaryius Thomas at the age of 33 years old, and now there's a report out that he had stage 2 CTE at the time of his death. Okay. Of course, there's been a lot of reports, a lot of articles, a lot of videos and stuff going out on CTE, talking about that and the effects that it has on NFL players while they're playing and even after they have spent their time in the NFL, after they retire, and how it affects their life after playing football. So, Willie Jack, what's your take on this particular situation as it relates to Demaryius Thomas, and do you think it has anything to do with his what most people would consider an early death at the age of 33?
No, and honestly, man, and I was because he passed a little bit ago, and I was trying to remember, was it suicide? I was trying to remember the original cause, but the main thing one of the things that made me think about it was the reports or the things that I had heard about CTE was that you accumulate the damage like at this age, and you're, what I'm saying, starting from whenever you start playing contact football. You know what I mean? So you accumulate that damage all throughout like this style of age, your 30s and your 40s, but that the effects really don't, I guess, take place until like your 50s. The guys like Junior Seau and Mike Webster back in the day, you know what I mean, who kind of was the kind of forefather or the initial kind of case study that got this whole CTE ball rolling. But no, man. So hearing that he was so young and for it to have been so advanced, like I said, stage 2. And I don't let me talk like an expert. I don't know. As far as I know, I believe there's 3 stages. You tell me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So to be as advanced as it was, and at the age that he was, man. So it kind of changes or puts more into perspective, kind of the thoughts on this type of stuff. And like I said, he was retired already for I think 2 years officially. He very well could have still been playing, though. 33 is still a playable age.
For sure,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So for some guys, you know what I'm saying? So he very well could have been still playing actively with stage 2 CTE, man. So that's definitely scary. And so, no, I mean, I think it definitely – and, somebody in the group had commented and posted about this as well. I think it might have been my dog, man, Cordell, man, if he dropped by tonight, bro. What's up with you? But he was like, man, it really does help kind of put into perspective. Or another thing that puts it into perspective, and we said it as well, but guys walking away from the game. You know what I mean? Guys walking away from this game still so young, because you do have to really take this stuff to account, man. Like, yeah, is it worth, and now everybody doesn't get this amount of time, but just for the sake of this conversation what I'm having, is it worth 10 years in this league to take 30 years off the back end? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get to play this game till you're 30, roughly, let's say. You know what I'm saying? If you're that lucky. Average time in the league is 3 years, just under 3. What's going on, mama? And so, yeah, so is it worth these 10 years you get? Is it worth 30 to maybe not make it to 60? You know what I'm saying? And that's like a decision that some of these guys are starting to have to make, man, and we've seen them make it. You know what I mean? Guys like Luke Kuechly and Pat Willis, man, 2 of my all-time faves, walked away by 30. I don't think either one of them played in the league at 32. You know what I mean? They were either 30 or 31. You know what I mean? And we're all pros when they left. You know what I'm saying? So just goes to show, man. So definitely condolences again to his family, man. And like I said, so hopefully all this stuff goes towards better understanding the condition and the disease, and whatever can be remedied to help, I guess, help the transition guys when they leave the game.
Yeah, help rectify the situation. And it's interesting that you mentioned some of the things that you mentioned, Willie Jack, in regards to this particular issue. And like you said, this can ultimately change the way the players play. And if it came down to those decisions, whether I want to live past 60 or play football an extra 5-10 years, what I mean, it's an easy decision for me. You know what I'm saying? Easy decision for most people. I think most people will take those latter years, those extra years with the family that a lot of them are sacrificing right now. A lot of them in training camp and going away and traveling and doing all these different things. What's up?
Because right now you sound like a 33-year-old man with a wife and kid answering this question. I want you to think about yourself at 21, with looking into the league. Well, most of us ain't thinking about that. Most of us ain't looking past what's in front of us, bro. Imagine being a guy on that stage in that level. You worked your whole life. This is your dream. You get here, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'd have been just like everybody else, bro. Man, I'm a crash dummy trying to keep on the team and get a check. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think guys start really having that perspective that you do as you get older, because like that self-reflection comes with age and maturity once you do settle down and have a family. But you got to think about it, man. Think about us at 21, 22, bro. Man, what? Man, when coach used to tell you, man, you got to run through a brick wall, man, head first, bro. We was all
and I completely understand. I completely understand that, Willie Jack. But I think that's the important aspect of it, though. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about these athletes, is helping them understand that at an earlier age. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like no one wants to. I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that if they feel like that's, especially depending on the position you play. But I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that, knowing the outcomes. And of course there's still more research and things like that to be done. But when you don't, the last thing you want to do is look back on it like, man, I should have did this, or I should have did this, or not even have the opportunity to say I should have did this or should have did that. You know what I'm saying? For him, I don't even know if he didn't have that opportunity to look back on it and say that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think as we continue to learn and continue to grow from this, we start to look back on it and say, all right, these are better decisions. And hey, man, I can't knock, like you said, I can't knock guys like Pat Will and Luke Kuechly for those decisions. You know what I'm saying? It hurt them to death. You can tell. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But this is a violent sport, man. And guys running full speed at each other up, and we see the meter. Sometimes these guys be running 21, 22 miles an hour, full speed at each other. You know what I'm saying? Only thing separating our heads is a helmet. You know what I'm saying? So
4 inches of hard plastic, bro.
That's it.
A helmet is 4 inches of
padding,
plastic.
Some padding on the inside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
4 inches of padded plastic, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. But yeah, condolences to his family again, like you said, Willie Jack. On to other news, man. And this is the news that everybody pretty much got today. You know what I'm saying? Baker Mayfield has a new home. You know what I'm saying? He's going to a new crib. You know what I mean? And this is something that we've been kind of pondering over this offseason. We had a feeling, we kind of knew he wasn't going back to Cleveland, especially the way that everything played out with them bringing over Deshaun Watson and, all those different deals and all those different things, and hearing stories about how they told Baker Mayfield he was going to be a quarterback, and then all of a sudden, boom, you bring over another guy. It's the trust was broken first and foremost from Baker Mayfield's aspect, and it was just time for this team to move on. You know what I'm saying? And time for Baker Mayfield in a sense to move on as well. So he did. The team did. They found new homes. They were able to work out a deal with the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers send a conditional 5th round pick in the year 2024 over to the Browns, which leaves Baker Mayfield as, I would think, the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers going into this 2022 season. You know what I'm saying? Couple things on top of that. This does fill that quarterback room, and it looks like P.J. Walker will probably be the odd man out in this room, especially with Carolina drafting Matt Corral and already having Sam Darnold. I would imagine they want to keep those three going into the season. But Willie Jack, I want your take, man. Give me your take on this particular move, man. What are your thoughts on it?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm curious to know what Darnold's contract looks like, because if you can get, because I think Darnold was making like he's making $10 million or more, isn't he? So I would think you make. I
I'll
would
find
think
out
you
for you.
make. Yeah, I was gonna say because I would think you want to move off of Darnold because I think Baker was locked into his 5th-year option. So I think Baker's at like 18 or 19 million a year, something like that. And I think you know what, Darnold may also be tied in with his 5th-year option. But if it's me with Matt Corral being there, if Baker doesn't work out, then we're not gonna turn to Sam Darnold to try to salvage the season. If he don't work out, then it is what it is. We playing for draft position. You know what I mean? So everybody's got to look good while we lose, and so that's a good excuse to let Corral, you know what I mean, get his feet wet if it doesn't work out with Baker. But I don't think you would pay. I don't think you would pay both of them. Did you find Darnold's money?
So Darnold is scheduled to make 18 this year.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And I think Baker's coming right around that number.
But that's a cap hit too. You know what I'm saying? If they decide to
Yeah.
to let him go.
Okay, so it is his 5th-year option number then. Okay,
Right.
so
it's
okay.
their 5th-year option number. So
Yeah, and like I said,
I would think that they decide to part ways with PJ Walker. They definitely not parting ways with Matt Corral, especially with drafting him.
No, Corral's safe for
He's
sure.
the one that's not going anywhere. And as we know, Baker Mayfield is probably not going anywhere either.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Now he's definitely coming to be the starter, and I like the move, man. Like I said, I mean, I know I've been more of a Baker, I guess, apologist than most in this group, man, because I really do take into account Baker did himself a huge disservice last year by playing, and he played to try to be tough for the team. But it's one of those things where we want you out there until you hurt the team. And he was hurting the team, but the team at the time wanted him out there. He forego a surgery. He shouldn't have been playing. You know what I mean? So he cost himself. He probably would have got another contract from Cleveland, or perhaps we don't know how it would have played out. But he definitely did himself a disservice trying to go the extra mile for the team. And so that's a good lesson for everybody. That's why on this show, we in favor of any player getting that bag because the team will not hesitate to throw you under the bus. And I really feel like Cleveland did throw Baker under the bus. You know what I'm saying? So, but it is what it is. I like the fit for him there in Carolina. Baker can play ball, man. I'm still convinced. I'm not saying he's an all-star. I'm not saying he's a first-team all-pro guy. Baker Mayfield can play ball, though. You know what I'm saying? I still like the weapons down there in Carolina. The O-line still needs work. They drafted and trying to work on that. But I love DJ Moore. You know that. You know I love me some Christian McCaffrey, man. I pray my dog can stay healthy again, man. So I like him there, too. Robbie Anderson as a speed threat. Now, Robbie Anderson and Baker, when they get into the film room together, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be an interesting exchange in the beginning. But you know as well as I do, man, once a guy's in your locker room, don't nothing else before that matter. You know what I'm saying? Just period. You know what I mean? We've seen that when James Harrison played for the Bengals and the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? So once a guy's in your locker room, anything else before or after that don't matter. And so I don't think there's going to be an issue there as far as Robbie Anderson and Baker's concerned. But no, I think that's definitely Baker's job. And I'm not going to lie, man. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take 19 mil on the chin. I don't know what their cap situation look like, but having both those guys in there right around 20 mil, that's going to be friction anyway because, you know, Darnold and Baker are the same draft class, which is also interesting. So I don't necessarily think Darnold's just going to lay down softly and go to the side. So it almost may be one of those things where they got to take it on the chin to get a distraction out of there when you brought in a guy who already is an enigmatic figure anyway. So you may not need any type of extra distraction because Baker's his own distraction enough. So I ain't going to lie, bro. They might want to take it on the chin and go ahead and get Darnold out of there. I doubt you could trade him, but yeah, you might just have to take it on the chin.
Gotcha, and I can see that too. You know, they may just go ahead and keep it, work with him as that backup for this year, and then he's gone after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
if he plays ball, that's what I'm saying. Like if he plays along, if he just wants to fall in line like a soldier, but if he wants to make noise and make a stink, brother, then I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
He ain't got much to stand on. You know what I'm saying? He got 4 years of bad film out there already. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, hey, we gave you the opportunity to make up for that, you know, and gave you we gave you a mulligan, you know, because of the years you spent with the Jets. But then you came over, you know what I'm saying, and you went to bed again. You know what I mean? So I get your opportunity. I get what you're saying. But on the other side of that too, this also means because the other team that was in talks with this is the Seahawks. So this means Seahawks for sure rolling into the season with Geno Smith and Drew Lock, you know what I'm saying, as their potential guys. One of these guys is going to come away as a starter as this season goes along. So see what that looks like. I'm interested to see kind of how that plays out. Willie, what's up? You had something with that?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, the Seahawks was in, but the thing with the Seahawks, there was a couple other teams that were also interested, the Seahawks as well, but none of them wanted to trade for him because he's locked into that $19 million figure for his fifth year contract. So had he been released, and had he been released soon enough, Pittsburgh was interested in him. You know what I'm saying? Had he been released, we weren't gonna pay him $19 million on a trade, and that's what the big thing was. So there was teams. Pittsburgh would have took a look. Seattle for sure would have took a look, and that probably would have been a place he would have went. I would have thought, because I think. No, I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know if I want to play in that NFC West versus the NFC South. So but it had been a conversation. You know what I mean? So he might have could even had like a little minor bidding war between Seattle and Carolina if it was the open market. But it still would, even whatever he would have signed, though, would have been the guaranteed fifth-year option money that he just got traded for. But no, I mean, I'm curious to see how that turns out, man. I'm always kind of a fan of the underdog anyway, man. So I want Baker to come back and show himself well.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, Willie Jack, man, that does it for the news today, man. Now, you know what time it is, man. It's time to jump on into what we came here for. You know what I mean? And that's these rankings, man. We came here. We said we was going to talk about some coaches today. So that's what we're about to do. But before we jump into that, Willie Jack, I think it's time for you to let them know, you know, what's going on with the with Let the Film Speak as far as what they need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Already, and William White just got in the building, man. Shout out to you, boy. Appreciate you stopping through, holler at your dogs. He said Baker's a spoiled brat. I mean, see, yes and no, because he had to get out the mud, though, man. Baker went the long way. Baker was a guy at Tennessee Tech, lost his job when Patty Mayfield came in, walked on at Alabama, took Alabama over, man, won a Heisman. I mean, Baker got out the mud, man. So I can't call him a spoiled brat when he had to go the long way. But yeah, man, that's another story, man. But hey, today's episode of Let the Field Speak is brought to you by none other than the sponsorship. Y'all know what's going on, man. The Three Amigos, man. And it's like that. Share, subscribe, man. That's 3 the hard way. That's a 3-piece spicy, man. Like, share, subscribe. Holla at your dogs, man, here at Let the Film Speak. So, we tell y'all every week, man, it's a 4-part process. Step number 1, check it in with 3 Amigos, man. Like, share, subscribe. Step number 2, tell a friend, man. We appreciate the love, man. You came through, you holla at your dogs, man. It ain't no fun. The homies can't get none, man. Tell your friend, man. Then you got to tell your friend to tell his friend, tell your friend's friend to tell his partner. Can bring everybody through. Wednesdays, 7 o'clock, right in here with your dogs, man. Let the film speak. Talk some ball. Learn something. You know what I'm saying? If you don't learn something, then you waste your time anyway, man. Come in here and holler at your dogs, man. Have fun. Have a good time, man. Talk about, man. Real football talk for real football fanatics, man. That's what it's all about here at Let the Film Speak. Wednesdays at 7. 3 Amigos. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell his friend. Tell your friend's friend to bring a partner. And everybody come down here and holler with us, man. And chop it up with your dogs, man. Now back to the regularly scheduled programming.
All right. Let's jump into it, Willie Jack. Now, as we said, we're going to rank these coaches, man. Top 10 coaches on each one of our lists going into the 2022 season. I say it every week, and I'm going to say it one more time. This is going into the 2022 season, all right? You know what I'm saying? This is what we're doing. We're ranking these coaches. So we're going to go ahead, talk to me. You look like you had something on your mind, brother. You look like you had something on your mind. What's up?
Yeah, you know what, bro? And I meant that.
I feel like you got a little bit more history on your list. You know what I'm saying?
I do, bro. I do, because it was hard. I do got a little more history because the coaches – it kind of goes in waves. Well, you know what? I'll explain once I get into the list. I did use a little more history than just next season. But yeah, that's interesting. That means our list could give us something to talk about. So I ain't mad at all.
You're right. And so I get what you're saying, because with coaches,
yeah, you know what I mean?
There is no, all right, I'm entering my prime, my athletic prime, or anything like that.
Yeah.
I know your knowledge is your knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You learn from things from the previous years, but there's no, all right, at 20, I'm 25 years old, 26 years old, I'm in my prime. You know what I'm saying? There's no age to prime. There's more so like, all right, what have you done for me? Let's get into it. Yeah. Let's go into it.
Yeah, we can see. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Go ahead and get it started, big dog. Go ahead and get it started.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and get it started, man. My number 10 coach, man, is the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt Lafleur. All right. Matt Lafleur is my number 10 guy, man. Only been a head coach for 3 years, but each and every year he hasn't lost. He hasn't won less than 13 games.
He's won 13 games. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I don't know why that was so hard to say, bro. I don't know why.
I saw where you were going, though. I saw where you were going.
But he's won 13 games each of his first 3 years. You're talking about a guy. Now, don't get me wrong. He had some good pieces. So he came into it, I would say, one of the better situations, but has managed it pretty well. You're talking about a team who went into a lot of, I guess you could say had a lot of turmoil over the last few years with the Aaron Rodgers situation and the draft situation and what they had and what they could do and so on and so forth. And he was able to hold it together, keep this team together for the most part. Now, of course, you're going to lose pieces, bring some pieces in. That's what's going to happen. But he was able to still wield this team to 13-win seasons each and every year. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, a big part of that is having Aaron Rodgers as your guy. But people forget, 2019, Matt LaFleur's first year, that was the year Aaron Rodgers didn't necessarily have one of the best years. That wasn't an MVP Aaron Rodgers year. MVP Aaron Rodgers was the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? 2019 was the Aaron Rodgers that was struggling a little bit. The Aaron Rodgers where they went and got Jordan Love after that. You know what I'm saying? So even with a quarterback not playing at the highest level, you know what I'm saying, he still was able to wield his team and also build this defense. Green Bay Packers had a defense that struggled for, years and years. They weren't known for having one of the best defenses. I would say, maybe the last 10 years. You know what I mean? You look at this Green Bay Packers team, the history of this particular team, just in that time span. But him coming over, adding different pieces, and adding more to this defense to make them more of a complete team. And that's part of the reason why I have him at my number 10 spot with Matt LaFleur, man.
And you know what, man? This is interesting. LaFleur, and see, this is why. And you know what? See.
Go ahead, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna leave my list the way it is because, like I said, it's gonna give us more to talk about. LaFleur on one of my 30 drafts or whatever I did. So he had made my list at like right around 9 or 10 as well. No, I don't think I had him above 10. Like right around 10 as well. I end up leaving him off, and it's because just like you said, it's 3 years of regular season success, and he is playing with arguably the top quarterback, probably the top quarterback of, I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers has like a generation, because he was kind of in between the generations of like Peyton and Tom, and then this current generation of like, no, you know what, maybe, all right, I'm gonna let that go. But he is playing with Green Bay, and he is playing in a division that realistically doesn't offer much resistance. And especially just in the time he's been there. The Detroit Lions, which until this year have shown their real signs of, and now you can't even say this year, because as much as they improved and as much as we cheered for them, still won 3 games and was the number two pick of the draft. So the Lions, boo-boo, you know what I'm saying, as far as his comp. The Bears, we know what that dumpster fire looks like with Matt Nagy. Can't believe he had that job for so long. But now they did have one kind of outlier year with the Bears and Nagy, but for the most part, that's been a trash dump as well. So the Bears, and then so the stiffest competition in the division is the Vikings, and the Vikings are a middling team. So they're constantly floating around 8-9 wins, and so never really a real threat to Aaron Rodgers Packers. And so he comes in to which honestly is a pretty soft division, and he runs it up in the regular season. And and one of the reasons I left him out is postseason success. And that's why I had to kind of give credence historically to some of the guys I end up putting on the list above him, because I think regular season, Aaron Rodgers is 13 wins for whoever's on the sidelines. It's Aaron Rodgers. If he's healthy and if he's playing well, that's 12, 13 wins for anybody. I wanted to see him, that loss that he just had at the crib to San Francisco in the snow, where you only score 6 points at home, or no, 7 points at home on a very opening drive, and you don't even sniff the other side of the 50-yard line at the crib in the snow from a California team who out-toughs Green Bay. Like, I think that's where he could have showed his coaching chops. Like, getting an ugly win at the crib when you should have such an advantage, and he just didn't show his worth. So he went, that team goes as Aaron Rodgers is playing today. You know what I'm saying? He didn't show me his worth, and so that's why I went ahead and left him off. But the win percentage and the regular season success so far to date, you can't argue with it, bro. He's knocking it out the park as far as that goes. But he's you know what I'm saying, he's the guy
he still got work to do. He still got work to do.
He's got to show me his chops. Busting his thing, what's going on, cousin?
And that's the reason why I got him in my number 10 spot. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say, like those 13 win seasons, regardless of who your quarterback is, you know, them kind of hard to come by. You know, and I remember seasons where Packers was going down to the wire for their last playoff spot. And in fact, the last time before Matt Lafleur was the quarterback, last time the Packers had 13 wins was 2011. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time they had over 13 wins. So, like, that ain't nothing to come by, you know, just because you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You know, he had to come in and do some things right and put some things together. And even, like I said, in the midst of that whole situation, too, that's another part of coaching I think that people kind of overlook a little bit is when you got turmoil around you, you got a lot of things going on. How can you handle it? How do you keep it together, hold it together, and still go out there and perform week in and week out? You know what I'm saying? So that was another part of that I like.
No, and that's fair. And I definitely appreciate handling turmoil, man. I deal with that firsthand. I get that, and that's true as well. Now I don't know if he had. I mean, well, I'd be curious to know. Maybe not 13 wins. Now I know Rodgers was beat up a couple of those years, but I don't know if when's the last time the Packers ever consecutively not won that division in the last like 10 years.
The 2 years.
Have they went 2 years?
The 2 years before Matt Lafleur was there.
Who won the division them 2 years?
I don't remember who won the division, but they finished third the previous 2 years. So like they was 6-9 in 2018, and in 2017 they were.
Oh, see that? Yeah, that was Rodgers' injured season.
6-9-1. But then the year before that they were 7-9.
Yeah.
And then the year before that they won the division, but then the year before that they came in second in the division. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I would imagine one of those years was the Bears when Nagy,
that Bears year
Nagy took the team, and I think one of those years I think the Vikings made it pretty far. So it was a couple of those years, but a lot of it. I would say they won a division a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? With Aaron Rodgers as their QB. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because Mike McCarthy had a long, sustained period of overall success. But, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's one of those things where and you playing with it's Ryan, man. You know what I'm saying? My little cousin Busted in here, he's a Bears fan. And so he said 2018 is when the Bears were 12-4. So he would definitely know that for sure. So that was 2018, which was a collarbone year for Rodgers. Remember, he broke his collarbone and then he came back and then he re-injured his collarbone. So he ended 2 years in a row. And then that next year, like you said, that's when they went and got Jordan Love, where everybody was mad about it. And then but like I said, I definitely appreciate it, man. And he made some of my list in my drafts, but at the end I had to go ahead and leave him off, man. But I like where you started right there. I like where you started.
Get it. Well, come on with it. You give me your 10 and your 9. What's up?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm gonna tell you, there's one guy on here that I've got him higher than I even want to put him in my own mind. But when I try to look at it logically, it's just hard to put him below some of these 9 and 10. So I'm gonna just rock with it. I'm gonna go number 10, man. I'm gonna go Sean McDermott, coach for the Buffalo Bills. And so now this is a guy, now he hasn't won a championship, hasn't made it to a Super Bowl yet, because those are things that I think are important as far as coaching legacy. Like, you know what I mean? So he hasn't done that yet. He's been pretty solid in the playoffs, I guess, these last couple of years with Josh Allen. But winning percentage, I actually did a little research today, Chop, man. Normally Chop is the guy with the numbers. Chop is normally the guy with the numbers, man. I'm gonna tell you what it was, bro. Like, I was doing so many lists, and I just needed something to break some of these ties or something to help me make a sense. I was like, okay, man, let me look at these, like some of the records and stuff. But so his winning percentage is like 0.605. So he's a 60% winning percentage, which is very good, very solid. The reason why I've got him at 10 is because I'm not sure how much of that overall team success can be attributed to Brian Daboll. So I feel like Brian Daboll, the former offensive coordinator, who is the guy who brought in rookie Josh Allen, molded and sculpted him, or helped him become the guy that we know him as today. Now, Brian Daboll just got hired by the New York Giants in the controversy that led to Brian Flores suing the NFL. That's a different story. But I do like McDermott. I liked McDermott a lot back when he was an assistant with Philadelphia, the Eagles. I can't remember the old D coordinator was back there when Brian Dawkins was playing, but there was one of them OG dudes, man, that was a D coordinator for years, and McDermott was like his right hand man. McDermott left and then went to Carolina, then he got the job in Buffalo. So I've kind of followed. I've known or been a fan of his, I guess, just what he does on defense and that type of thing. So I like him in Buffalo. I like what they've got going. I like the trajectory of the team. But now without Brian Daboll, I'm still curious to see, does that team, like, do we notice or see Brian Daboll's impact now on Sundays? Like, do we notice, like, hold on, wait, something's off, something's not right? Or maybe, you know what I'm saying, do they take a step back, or do they continue on the trajectory they are? But I still do respect what he's done with Buffalo, man, making Buffalo into a real deal contender. And so I think it has to be saluted, man. I got McDermott there at number 10.
Respect it. All right, so roll into your number 9, man. No explanation.
I guess for sure. And then a couple Jared in the building, man. He said, hey, do we think Deshaun be playing this season, or you think he'd be suspended? Man, we gonna probably get it. For my money, I think he's suspended, bro. I've been saying this the whole time, bro. I just don't see how he don't get a fat suspension. You know what I'm saying? I won't stay too long on it, but just want to touch on it real quick. Yeah, but now, hey, appreciate you stopping through, my boy. What you think, Chop?
I think they want to suspend him for the year. They want him gone for the year. You know what I'm saying? And it's up to the Players Association to kind of work and fight on that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's going on. But I don't necessarily see them wanting to play. I'm gonna see how this plays out. But also, it's just a messy situation in general. You know what I'm saying? You still got 4 cases out there. Only 20 have been settled as of right now. You know what I'm saying? So there's still 4 out there, and needs to be determined what's going on. So I think they're trying to get him out for the year. We'll see if the Players Association can get that reduced. But it's still information out there. It's still stuff out there that needs to be unfolded and found out before, you know what I'm saying, some things happen.
And here's a good comment real quick. Jerry, he said, with the move of them go ahead and letting Baker go, do you think that's a sign that he will play this year? Not necessarily the whole year, but you think that's a sign that he will play sometime this year, them go ahead and letting Baker go? What you think?
No, because I think they was going to get rid of Baker anyway. I think Cleveland messed up when they burned the bridges with Baker. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I was going to say, I think they burnt that bridge.
Baker, but Baker wasn't going to play for them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But Baker went out there, like you said, Willie Jack, and I give you props on this one. Baker went out there, and he was in a lose-lose situation last year. If he didn't play, it was going to look like he didn't want the team to win. If he did play, he's out there, he put bad play on the field. So last year, I think with what he did and what he displayed and what he put on the table for their team, he expected them to be to do more for him, and they just didn't give him that same respect, and they lost their trust. So now I just feel like Baker done. Baker was done for them after this year, and after they brought Deshaun in, it was a wrap. So it didn't matter, you know, so whether Deshaun was going to play or not. Baker wasn't playing for him.
No, and I agree with. I think that bridge was burnt, and I think Baker just as petty as me. It would have been worth staying in Cleveland just so I could not play. You know what I'm saying? Just to let y'all know, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't come around here now. No, yeah. So yeah, Baker wasn't playing, bro. So I think they had to just get whatever they could for him, and Carolina was desperate enough to make it happen because they got to get off of Darnold. So yeah, I don't think Baker would have saved it. And then I don't think he's gonna play, bro. Realistically, I just don't. Don't. If he plays more than 7 games, like if the over under 7, I would probably go under. You know what I'm saying? I think it's at least 10 games coming back. At least 10.
I got you. All right. We're going to jump into your number 9. Yeah, Jack, what you got?
That's gonna roll me into my 9. I got Mike Vrabel. I got Mike Vrabel here at 9, man. And so I really like what Mike Vrabel's done in Tennessee. And if Tom's still in here, Vrabel, longtime Patriot, of course, was part of that first Patriot dynasty with them first 3 rings, went and cut his teeth in Houston as the defensive coordinator under Romeo Crennel, I want to say. If Tom's still in there, man, let me know who was the head coach when Vrabel was over there in Houston. But no, man, so definitely kind of cut his coaching chops there. And then honestly, I wasn't sure what it was going to look like when he left and got that job at Tennessee. And honestly, I can't remember. I like Vrabel as a player, and I like what I saw from him as a coach because he's a guy that's been on the field. You can tell he still got the bug. You know what I'm saying? Like there's close to Vrabel, bro. Vrabel out there holding pads, lining up, and wanting boys to go 100% on him in the drills. You know what I'm saying? So he still got the itch, man. Coaches like that are always fun. You know what I'm saying? Because they get it, and like they ain't gonna sell you short. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you exactly what it is, and you can respect it because he been there. So I always like coaches like that. You know what I'm saying? And I really like what he done.
And Tom say Bill O'Brien. He said Bill O'Brien.
Oh, that was Bill O'Brien's year. You sure right, bro. Yeah, he would definitely know about that. Shout out to Bill O'Beasy, bro. Gave away Hawkins for a bag of Skittles, but it's all good.
Out there tripping.
Tripping. Yeah, bro. But no, I like Vrabel, man. I like what he's done. I feel like he's really put his imprint on that Tennessee team. They look and feel like a hard-nosed, that's a hard-nosed, nose to the grindstone team, and that's all Vrabel. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's put his stamp on that team. That's one of the, like, that goes back to what I've said about Lafleur. I don't feel like I watch Lafleur's Packers. I still feel like I watch A.A. Ryan's Packers. Like, I feel like I'm watching Vrabel's Titans. You know what I'm saying? Like, Derrick Henry is a part of Vrabel's Titans. You know what I'm saying? Boys forget, Derrick Henry had a little bit of that little tiptoe giant in his early days. Now, this is going back to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? We can get into that later. But nah, man, I really like what Vrabel's done there. I think he won Coach of the Year 2 years ago as well. Winning percentage at 63%, which is good. And so, like I said, now with them going through a little bit of a reset, losing A.J. Brown, bringing in a new guy you think was going to be A.J. Brown, I don't know how that's going to turn out. Their offensive line getting a little older. They're going to have 2 or 3 new pieces on their offensive line. Derrick Henry coming back from major injury. So I think now, kind of like what we were saying about Lafleur also, now he gets another chance to kind of prove his chops. But I feel like he has already kind of, he's earned a stripe in my book, man. So I really like what Vrabel's got going on. I got him at 9.
Got you. And I'm just gonna roll into it, Willie Jack, because that's why I got him at. You know what I'm saying? I got him in my number 9 spot as well. You know what I'm saying? I think he's, like you said, one of those guys that still has that itch, but I still think he has what I would call an ear to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Meaning,
for sure, good way to put it.
Meaning he was pretty much fresh out. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out of playing football. You know what I'm saying? And went right into coaching. And I think this is where football, what a lot of things need. I don't want to go too far into it, but you need more of those young minds, and you see a lot more of that than you've seen in the past. These young-minded coaches that come up with all these creative ideas and creative things to make them successful. You know what I'm saying? Which is why you see the NFL evolving today. It's coaches like him, coaches like the Sean McVays and the like a lot of the young guys that come in with these fresh new ideas, man, and are able to hit the ground rolling. You know what I'm saying? And are able to do things that to evolve the game and do things that a lot of these old coaches haven't seen before. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the reasons I got Mike Vrabel at that number 9 spot. And he's also a guy that turned I don't know if I would necessarily put it specifically on him, but put his team in a situation to make Tannehill look a little bit better than he
man, he's doing better, for sure. Revamp that man's career. Yeah, for sure.
So by making that move and putting everything that he put together, you know, he allowed this team to become better. You know what I'm saying? Making some of those bold moves he made. Now, as you said, this upcoming year is going to be a test year for him. You know what I'm saying? And this is where if you're gonna be considered one of the top coaches, you know, this is something you have to overcome. And I don't think it's as drastic as some of the coaches we've seen from other teams had to overcome. But when you have changes like this, when you lose, like you said, your guy like A.J. Brown, and you have to replace him, bring other guys in and move a lot of pieces around and still be competitive, still be successful in the league, you know what I'm saying, and still win your division. You know what I'm saying? This is a division you won the last few years. Can you still stay atop this division? You know, are you still the best team? You know what I'm saying? If so, show it. Go out there, put it together, you know, do your thing, and go out there and win some games. You know what I'm saying? With some of the newer faces, some of the guys who haven't proved themselves to be as talented as a guy like A.J. Brown. You know what I'm saying? Now, you still got Derrick Henry. You still got your horse. You know what I'm saying? But don't forget, after losing Derrick Henry for the second half of the season, you know what I'm saying, he still was able to put things in place and use guys like Dante Hilliard and other guys who we haven't really known much about to still get the job done.
Old boy from Texas, the other running back
I forgot
with Hilliard that got off.
His name.
Damn, Tom, tell me his name, bro. He played at UT. I can't think of his name now, but I think he went to the Texans this offseason, bro. But no, he can't. He stepped in and looked nice. But yeah, I know you're talking about.
But being able to do things like, no, you feel good. But being able to do things like that which ultimately got him his coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? And still be successful. You know what I'm saying? So I like Mike Vrabel. I like what he's doing over there. He comes from under that. He played with Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he on that Belichick tree.
So you know what I'm saying? He's out there doing his thing, man. And I hope for all the best. I hope he continues to be successful and continues to build this team because they got something going over there, man. They got some stuff brewing.
For sure. And then Tom got that name, Dante Foreman. Appreciate you, Tom. Yeah, that's what it was, Dante Foreman. Yeah, Dante Foreman.
Sure
my cousin. Yeah, my cousin Shanetta, what's going on? See, look, now you want to stop by and check me out. Look, my hair ain't done. I look crazy. See what you did? Blame your niece, though. I'm here to cut Kiara's fault.
Sis popped in, huh?
Not my cousin, yeah, Shanetta.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Dante Foreman, that's what it was. He went for like $130 on in one of those like critical games. I wanted to say that's where I wanted to make sure we shout him out. But yeah, go into your 8, bro.
All right, going into my number 8, man, and I'm gonna go over. I don't know if this is gonna be a little unorthodox for you, but it is for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with Frank Reich, man. Frank Reich. I like me some Frank Reich, man. I think Frank Reich is an awesome and a great coach. You know what I'm saying? A great mind, a great motivator. I think he is. I just think he's a great coach, man. Now you go back and you look at his records. You know what I'm saying? And they don't show the best. You know what I'm saying? They don't look. They don't. It doesn't look like a Matt Lafleur 30 Black in here. But hey, speaking of Black, I'm glad Black rolled in here, man. Let me let y'all know. Hey, Black is one smart dude, man. That's a smart guy right there, man. Black got going on, man. Black is a smart dude, man. Appreciate you for tuning in, Black, man. I'm glad you coming in.
Hey, shout out to Black, man. Shout out to Black.
Enjoy it, Black. Enjoy this right now for you, bro.
Hey, and I got that win percentage for you right, bro. 0.569, so right around 57%.
Boy, look at Willie, boy. Willie could bring you the numbers today.
Hey, I told you, boy. Hey, I told you, boy. I was going through it with these lists, boy. I had to start looking for stuff to help break the ties and stuff in my head.
Got you. But just thinking about Frank Reich, man, I know you look at his situation and you look at but you look at his situations going from, you know, a few quarterback changes, you know, and then coming from the position that he had, which put him in a position that he has now as a starting quarterback. I mean, not a starting quarterback, but as the head coach of Indianapolis, you know, based off the things that he did and to help get those teams to the Super Bowls. In Indianapolis, there's been a lot of changes, but one thing I can always say is he keeps that team competitive. You know what I'm saying? He keeps that team. He always makes smart decisions. He puts his team in the best situations. He is one of those coaches that doesn't fold under pressure. He does everything that you want your head coach to do. Now, does everything work out his way? No. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the way things work out. Does he have that guy at QB? No. He doesn't have that guy at QB. Now, this is probably going to be the best one he's had over this 4 years he's been there.
I would say 3-4 years.
You know, he had from Phillip Rivers to.
I think he might have had Andrew Luck last year, I think, and then he had Phillip Rivers,
which is an injury-prone year, I believe. I think last year he was injured a lot, but then going from that to Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz last year to now having Matt Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Going through a lot of those changes, having a teaching offense to a new guy into the system. I think a lot of the things that Frank Reich is doing over there and just his overall his trying to think of the right word, but his foot in the game and on this team, I think it's more than what we see record-wise when we watch this team.
No, I dig that for sure, and I'm gonna have the same thing to say when I get to a guy here in a little bit too. So I dig that for sure. I feel you.
Okay, yeah.
So, in the building, what's going on, bro?
Those are the reasons I got a guy like Frank Reich at my number 8 spot, because a lot of those different things that people don't necessarily recognize, but he's a great coach. His team is always going to be competitive. They're always going to be well coached. You know, those teams where we used to go up against each, you know, in college or whatever. It's like, I don't know, but this team is well coached. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to have a lot of penalties. They're going to be well coached. And that's the type of coach Frank Reich is. So I got to give him his respect. I got him on my 8 spot.
No, and I like Frank Reich, man. Frank Reich was another guy. He just missed my cut. One of the reasons why is I had Vrabel. Once my list started kind of filling in, I had Vrabel anywhere. Well, I had Vrabel anywhere from like 7 through 10, I want to say. But then, so I still hold Vrabel ahead of Reich, because honestly, we get to see them go head to head, and I feel like Vrabel's has had more success in the same division, and they've been there for around the same time. So I gave the nod to Vrabel over Reich as far as making the list. But I do like the things you said. He comes from that Doug Peterson tree, which he comes from under Doug Peterson, which was under Andy Reid. All those guys, I think both of them were actually on Reid's staff. So he comes from the Andy Reid tree. So I definitely like Reich, man. I like when he moved over there to Indianapolis. That's why I thought the Carson Wentz move was going to work so much better than it did. The thing that ended up keeping him off the list, well, I kind of ran out of room, but I agree with everything you said about him having that team prepared to be competitive, except that winning in playoff game. You cannot. They didn't show up to play, bro. They didn't show up to play, and like I said, and it's a team that's for all the flaws it had, it was still a very competitive team. They were in the driver's seat to win that division, to win that division once Tennessee took a step back from Henry. But that last game where they just completely crapped the bed, they just completely pissed the bed, and I think that's one of those ones where, fair or not, there's a lot of other things to play, but fair or not, I think those type of losses do tend to fall on the coach when you're playing the very worst team in the league in the interdivision game. You win this, you win and you in. Like, you cannot come out and lay an egg. And so I think that's a I put that strike against Reich, but it doesn't take away from how I think about it, because I feel the same as you. Everything you said, I think, really makes sense. They've got a team there in place. They just don't have the trigger man. And so hopefully Matt Ryan is able to, in this next year or two, hopefully to give them a real chance to make a run and see how they do. But yeah, like I said, I got the cutting fine hairs trying to, trying to figure out how to weed this list down, man. But I definitely like Frank Reich as well. I do agree with honestly about everything you said. I like Reich a lot.
Gotcha. Well, come on, give me your number 8, then, bro.
And this is gonna be perfect because it's gonna tie me into my number 8. Now, this one, this one is a little eyeball. And even before everything happened, while we talk about the Eagles, I said back then, keep Doug Peterson, let Carson Wentz go. Doug Peterson is number 8 for me. And he's eligible to make the list now because now he's the new coach at Jacksonville. And I'm not going to lie, I can't wait to see what he does with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. I think Doug Peterson is a fantastic coach. He was a long-time number 2 guy under Andy Reid right there with the Eagles when Philadelphia lost their damn mind, went ahead and got Andy out of there, sent him to Kansas City. Doug went with him. Doug was his first OC and quarterback guy, even though Andy primarily calls plays. But he was his first guy in that new Chiefs regime that then left and got another job. So Andy and the Eagles got the smell of themselves, sent Andy away, and then Andy went over and showed him he's still that guy. Y'all was tripping, so then they had to do the next best thing. Well, let's go get Andy's. Let's go get Andy's number 2. So they bring Doug Peterson back, and then in the short time he was with Philly, I think he was only in Philly for what? I don't know. Was it 5 years? I don't even know if it was a full 5 years. It was 4 or 5 years. Nick Foles is a Super Bowl champion now, and the play calling, his imprint on that team. We weren't watching Carson Wentz Eagles. We weren't watching Nick Foles bum-ass Eagles. We were watching Doug Peterson Eagles. We watched Doug Peterson outsmart and outmaneuver Bill Belichick head-to-head in a Super Bowl. And I say it like that because Bill is a defensive guy, and Doug is the offensive guy, just like Andy. He's the guy calling that. He's the guy sculpting and calling that offense, and he's going against Bill, who's definitely got his hands firmly on that defense, and he whooped Bill's ass that day. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? Not score-wise. I ain't saying they blew him out by 3 touchdowns, but he was a step ahead of Bill Belichick for maybe one of 2 times anybody else could ever say in regards to playing against Bill and in a championship moment. Like, those Giants teams, 2 Giants teams beat Bill in Super Bowls. I don't feel like Bill got out-coached or outmaneuvered. Plays got made on the field. Eli Manning struck lightning twice. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think, like, Bill didn't take an L to Tom Coughlin. Peterson gave Bill an L. Peterson put one on that boy's chin. You know what I'm saying? And so I really like and respect Doug Peterson as coach. I'm super excited. Like I said, I'll say it again, for what he's going to do down there with Trevor Lawrence. And honestly, this is the very best thing that could have happened with Chop's boy Trevor Lawrence, bro. Getting Doug Peterson, who knows exactly what to do, who knows how to put him in position, knows what to do with those other guys they got there. He knows what to do with a Travis Etienne. He knows what to do with Christian Kirk coming over here now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a beautiful situation for them. Now, I don't know win or loss wise what it's going to look like in the early going, but as far as the maturity and development of Lawrence, man, this is the best spot for him for sure. So I like to say, yeah, I can tell I've got a lot of respect for Doug Peterson, man, and what he did. This is gonna take. Oh, well, what you think about Peterson, bro? What you think? My fault.
No, you know what? I like the Doug Peterson pick, man. You know, and he was one of the guys that just missed my list. You know what I'm saying? He was right there in those lines. I like a lot of the points that you mentioned, man. It made me feel like, dang, man, I've been teaching Willie a lot of stuff. That boy good. But no, real talk though. I think I like the Doug Peterson pick. I respect it. No, I can't say nothing at all. He did go in there and you know, outcoach Bill Belichick to get that Super Bowl win. But then on top of that, though, it was the fact that for me, it was not necessarily putting together that good stuff. He doesn't have a good history of bringing the right people around him to help him continue to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Do the things that he do. But I do like the pick. Doug Peterson I think is a great coach. I think that he has a bright future over there in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? And he could be moving up, man. He could be moving up for sure. So I like that. I like that.
Hey, real quick, man. Ben 10 dropped a comment for you, man. I'll let you read it. But I was telling him, man, he was worried about interrupting the live. I was like, hey, man, no interruption at all, man. You definitely welcome to stay and chill with us, man. But yeah, he left your message in there, man. If you want to check it real quick.
Good. Appreciate it being 10, man. You always welcome to hang with us, man. Hey, let the films be real family over here, man. We always willing to talk football. You talk to us, we talk back. So if you got some football knowledge, man, jump into this. Hey, you family when you in here with us, man. So you can stay here as long as you want. You know what I'm saying? From the time we open to the time we close and shut it down.
Hey, exactly. No interruption at all, my boy. No interruption at all. Yeah, for sure. But now this is gonna take me to my number 7, man. And number 7 is the one. This is the ugliest pick on my list, man. I know it. But honestly, like I said, when I try to look at it objectively, like I felt like it was just hard to put some of the names I said before him ahead of him. And I know this pick was a little more yesterday than tomorrow. But when I went through and talked it out, it was just hard. I couldn't make it make sense in my head logically to have them below some of these guys. So I'm going to do it. 7, I've got Pete.
Pete.
I got Pete Carroll. And let me explain why, though. Well, the numbers are there. His win percentage is roughly 62%, so 619, which is a very good record, which is a very good percentage. So he's at 619, 62%. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to a second. TJ in the building, man. This is coaches, top 10 coaches headed to 2022, big dog. And this is the thing I thought about with Pete. That team has been competitive since he's been there. And another thing I think I like about Pete is he built that team. Like Seattle, I was never a Seattle fan. I hated their uniforms. I didn't like Matt Hasselbeck. I thought Sean Alexander was weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just was never a fan of the Seahawks. Pete Carroll made me a fan, and he did it with his boldness. He came in, he brought a lot of philosophies and practice habits and things that he had brought over from USC, and he really revamped that whole organization, bro, and made it a champion. He really did. And then also, we can't forget, you know what I'm saying? Pete changed the face of football a little bit. Pete made that press Bell 3. Everybody in the league started trying to run it. When the Legion of Boom became an all-time dominant defense, that's Pete's USC defense. You know what I'm saying? So just like I said about Matt Vrabel, because it was Vrabel and Curl were the guys. Vrabel and Curl and some of these guys. I kept going. Everything I said about Vrabel, I was like, man, I can say that about Curl, except he won a championship and he really should have had 2. You know what I'm saying? But that was he really put his stamp on that Seahawks team. They had their own brand of football. You know what I'm saying? Now, he did have Russell Wilson, which helped steady that ship for after the championship run. Russell was kind of there, kind of steadying that ship. But when that team was a championship team, that wasn't Russell's team yet. And I hate that for Russ, and I hate that I have to say that because I'm a huge fan of Russ, as we both are. But the truth be told, he was a pastor on that first championship. You know what I'm saying? He was a young guy, and you know what I'm saying? He had a good coach there that really bro, built a fan base from nothing, changed the philosophy and outlook of an organization. He was, like I said, he started a defensive fad in the league around everybody else wanting to do and mimic what he does. And so I think I just felt like it was just hard. Like, and that's why I couldn't have Lafleur. Like, this is who bumped Lafleur off the list. Cause like, man, I'm gonna give Lafleur 3 regular season successes over the body of work of a decade of Pete Carroll, who is a champion. And like I said, so man, I felt like I owe Pete one last go around, man. This is gonna be a year for Pete. Much like we said with some of these other guys, man, this is a year for Pete. We're gonna see it, Pete. Is the magic gone? You know what I'm saying? As the magic gone, Pete, you done lost Russ. Bobby Wagner's gone. You revamping that defense. You know what I'm saying? No pieces from those championship days are left on that team now. Russ and Bobby were still the last 2 guys on the roster when they were championships and when they had the old success. So now the cupboard is completely bare, completely butt naked. And now we'll see going forward, like I said, if Pete can still innovate and make things happen. But I just couldn't leave him off, man. When I went through and thought about what he was at his best, I was like, man, Pete Carroll came in to kind of change coaching. Pete Carroll hit the league like Sean McVay did, but he was old instead of young, and it was defense instead of offense. Like, think about that. Think about when Pete Carroll and Legion Boo came in, bro, and skunked Peyton Manning's Broncos. You know what I'm saying? Dogged them. Peyton looked like man, I ain't gonna disrespect the sheriff like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we gotta really think about the animal that Pete Carroll and those Seahawks was when they was out here doing it, bro, and they were a monster, and they had a real life chance to be a real sustained dynasty, but it didn't happen. But I still, like I said, I had to give him his roses, man, while it's time to.
And I respect that, man, and just for the simple fact that I think Pete Carroll gets a bad rap because it was one of those situations where, one,
No, okay, yeah, you were froze for a second, but I got you back now.
Yeah, somebody tried to call me, man. They trying to interrupt me, trying to put me on.
Oh, you gotta get on D&D, bro. Yeah, I learned that lesson.
You know what I'm saying? They need to come on and let the film speak if they want to talk. But look, check this out.
For sure.
It was one of those things where they had the great defense, and everybody gave a lot of their credit to the defense. You know what I'm saying? And then once they still were able to be successful, they start giving a lot of their credit to Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? And it became a thing where it was like, all right, you need to let Russell Wilson cook. You know what I'm saying? But not to mention, each and every year, this team, like you said, was competitive. You know what I'm saying? Within the last few, let me look. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, they didn't go to the playoffs 2 times. You know what I'm saying? That was this past year because Russell got hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then another year. You know what I'm saying? But even with that year, they were still pretty competitive. They never lost.
They always hard out. Like, even they always are hard out.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, and I understand this, they give a credit to having Russell Wilson as your starting quarterback, and I understand that. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of that, too, you still have to give Pete Carroll that credit. But he didn't quite make my list because I do feel like that he's one of those guys where I would like to see some new sauce. You know what I'm saying? Some new sauce. Mm-hmm. Now, this is going to be a test this year for sure, you know, going into this year with less talent than you've had in a long time. You lost your captain on defense. You lost the best player on your offense. Hey, you got to regroup and you got to put something together. And you know what I'm saying? If he can show that he's able to do that, then I think we need to start putting a little bit more respect on Pete Carroll's name. But he didn't make my list just for the simple fact that I want to see something new, man. It's a lot of old school philosophies to what he does. Now, some of the old school stuff works. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I want to see it may be time for a little bit of a shakeup. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. No, and I feel you completely because like I had like different variations of the list, and Pete wasn't on there. And then I kept thinking like, man, I've got guys on here who don't have 50 wins as a coach, and then I've got Pete off who's got a championship. So that's why that's the kind of like I felt like I had to make it make sense. And so that's why like a guy like Lafleur didn't miss out. But like I said, 'cause I like what you said about Lafleur, but I still want to know it's actually him pulling that trigger. But no, I respect it for sure.
Gotcha. So jumping into my number 7, man, it was actually I think it was your number 9 guy. I got Sean McDermott, man. Sean McDermott is my number 7 guy on this list, man. You're talking about a coach who came in and changed the culture of a Buffalo Bills team who haven't before him hasn't been to the playoffs in 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
But not since Jim Kelly.
It takes a guy. You talk about guys all the time when you talk about players, but it takes a guy to come in and change that losing culture. You know what I'm saying? It takes for me, I feel like it takes a guy to go change cultures like the amount of losing seasons the Jets have right now. The Browns, they were in that situation.
The Browns, I like Stefanski
you know what
a lot. Yeah,
you know, it's a lot of teams who like it takes
the Lions with Dan Campbell. We watching them before our eyes. Yeah.
Yep, completely change their culture and are willing to go against the grain to make those changes. And I think McDermott was able to do that. Now, he's a defensive guy. And you want to know what the defense did? They went from 26th to 2nd in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The time he got there. And he turned the defense around. And we see what their defense has been today. And we know it's been consistent over the years. You know what I'm saying? They built that defense to where they solid. You know what I'm saying? Solid as a rock. Say so, what's going on with you, bro? How you doing? But they solid as a rock. They're going to compete. Now they have one of the better offenses in the league. If not, some people consider them the best offense. I know my guy Willie Jack is a fan of he called Big Josh Allen.
You already know what's going on, man.
He's a fan of it. So they have a lot of the pieces put in place, and it all started with Sean McDermott. You know what I'm saying? Bringing all these things to place, putting it all together, and now this team is poised to try to make a Super Bowl run this year, man. They got everything in place, and McDermott turned this team around. You know what I'm saying? He came in, put it together, and McDermott is doing his thing. I like what he's doing. He looks like he's on his way to having a long tenure over there in Buffalo. So I'm anxious to see kind of how that continues to go on with his career over in Buffalo, man.
For sure. And you know what, man? I wish Jarrell was in here because Jarrell's an Eagles fan. I want to know the name of that defensive coordinator that McDermott came up with. He was the guy that got grown, and that was the defensive coordinator that was there when Dawkins was there. With Dawkins and old boy on the D line, Hugh Douglas, and I used to be an Eagles fan back then too. I just love the way they play defense, man. I can't think of the defensive coordinator that McDermott came up under, man, but yeah, if Jarrell was good, I think Jarrell's an Eagles fan, so he might. If Duke was in, I think Duke an Eagles fan as well. But I can't think of that dude's name. But yeah, I like McDermott a lot as well. Yeah,
for sure. And they had a middle linebacker I used to like too. I forgot his name, man. He was nice too.
Who you talking about?
As a middle linebacker that the Eagles had back in those days.
Oh, yeah, man. He was a big one too, boy. He was just all downhill. Oh man.
Yeah,
now you gonna get me thinking. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna have to come up with these names because he was a nice guy. He would have been.
Yeah, but that defense was nasty, boy. Yeah. Hey, they had some real dogs over there now. Yeah, them early 2000s Eagles, boy, with B-Dog back in the back, punishing folks, boy. Hey, yeah, they was the deal.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. Go ahead and move on, man. I'm gonna move on to my number 6 guy, man. And this is where we kind of move up a little bit. Well, actually, Sean McDermott, I think he's solid, but this is when we start to move up a little bit on this list as far as a little bit of separation and who I feel like some of the top guys in the league, man. And I'm going with John Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? John Harbaugh at my number 6 spot, man. One of the coaches who's been in this league a long time, man. Been coaching for 13, 14 years. You know what I'm saying?
That long?
He's been in 2008. He's been that guy.
Oh man, yeah.
Since 2008, and he's been competitive every single year. And this is also a guy who where we've seen the changes. You know what I'm saying? We've seen changes as far as the structure of the way they run their offenses and their defenses. We've seen all different types of changes, and yet and still, this team always seems to be competitive. You know what I'm saying? I seen them go from a Joe Flacco style offense, you know what I'm saying, that type of quarterback leading it, to a Lamar Jackson style offense. You know what I'm saying? That's a complete change in the style and the way that they do things. And like I said, they're still able to be successful, still able to be competitive, and still be able to be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? To be able to formulate an offense to where a different style QB was able to go in there and get an MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type of things are things I like to see, and things that I hold to a high regard when I talk about good coaches in the NFL. When things change, when you have to maneuver and change things around, are you still able to be successful? To routinely and be able to continue to hold this franchise up to that standard that they have. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we talked about before, it's certain teams that have standards. You know what I'm saying? As your boy says, the standard is a standard. You know
hey, the standard is standard.
The standard is, like, it's certain teams and
Yeah,
organizations.
he maintained that brand. I get what you're saying.
You maintain that brand. And Baltimore has a brand of football that they play and a certain level of success that you expect from them. Even if they have a 1 or 2 up down years, you expect them to be right back. You know what I'm saying? Certain teams just don't go through long rebuilds. And this is one of those teams. Yeah, and the success that he's had over the years, the trust that he has in his players, is the reason why I got him in my number 6 spot, man. So I got Baltimore. I mean, John Harbaugh, head coach of Baltimore Ravens, in my number 6 spot, bro.
No, and you know, I'm not mad at that at all, man. And he's coming up on my list, so I won't hit on it right now because I'm at the double back here in a minute. But no, I agree with the thing you said, man. And just like you said, like I said, him maintaining that brand, I definitely agree completely. I'll get more into it when I get to him. He's coming up. So it's going to take me to my number 6. Now, my number 6, now I've said this before, and I said it a while ago. And so I want to bring it back up because I be seeing my takes on TV, you know what I'm saying, after y'all that already had him here and let the film speak. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm not saying that this is one that people are saying or it just came out, but I have said this and I'm going to say it again. My number 6 is Kyle Shanahan. For me, Kyle Shanahan is the best offensive mind in football.
I agree.
In football right now today. If Andy Reid's calling my offense or Kyle Shanahan's calling my offense, I would give the edge. Well, no, I shouldn't say it like that. Because I don't want to disrespect Andy or short sight sell him as well. I've been a big Andy fan even back in the Eagles as well. But anyway, I'm just going to let that go. Kyle Shanahan at number 6. Now, his overall win, this is what was hard about it because he was in the top 5, and then I had to back him off a little bit. His overall winning percentage is not there. It's 481, so 48%. So he's under 500 overall as a coach. But I think he's a guy, when you look at, he's another guy, he built it, he didn't buy it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way I felt about Vrabel as well. Like he went in, now he didn't have to rebuild a losing organization like the Bills recently or some of these other teams we talked about, because the Niners have their own history of success. John Harbaugh's little brother was just there not so long ago and had that team on the doorstep of being a Super Bowl champion with Colin Kaepernick. So the drought for success with them wasn't over long or over sustained, but he still came in and reworked and rebranded that team under his own imprint. And like I said, when you watch the Niners, you watching Kyle Shanahan football. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a guy that's left a stamp on that team and on an organization, and he's doing it. The sum is greater than the parts is the thing I'll say about Kyle Shanahan. And that's exactly the argument that I made about Deebo Samuel, where as great as Deebo is, Kyle gives more to Deebo than Deebo gives to Kyle. You know what I'm saying? And then even like the usage of Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle. Like the Niners are a modern team that run an offense that could be similar to the 90s Cowboys. They run a fullback, you know what I'm saying, and a real fullback. Kyle Juszczyk isn't like an H-back who you play at fullback, and he's not a small tight end playing. Like, no, bro. He is a fullback. You know what I'm saying? With H-back skills, or don't let me confuse anybody. But what I'm saying is they run a real true-to-life fullback. They got a real true-to-life inline wide tight end. I'm not talking about a guy that gets cute. He's 7 yards off the ball. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Pitts, Jimmy Graham, Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? And that's not knocking them because I love those players. I'll take them right now. But I'm saying, like, they're successful with having a guy where a tight end, only 2 receivers, and a fullback in the backfield with Jimmy Garoppolo and, God bless him, Trey Lance pulling the trigger. With running backs nobody can name. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, we can name because we're us. And, you know, guys in here, people in here love football. But I'm saying, like, your average casual fan can't tell you the name of the top 2 running backs on the Niners. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. He doesn't have Derrick Henry like Mike Vrabel does. He doesn't even have Ryan Tannehill. Hell, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have some of those key components. He doesn't have Jonathan Taylor like Frank Reich does, who really saved Frank Reich's season because it was going down. You know what I'm saying? It was going the wrong way until they just turned them keys over. He doesn't even have that guy. Shanahan's run scheme with Jonathan Taylor, bro, he's going for 2,300 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like
they had guys like Jeff Wilson and And
Raheem Mostert came out and got paid. Raheem Mostert got paid in free agency. Nobody knew
Raheem Mostert, Trey Sherman, Elijah Mitchell. You know what I'm saying?
Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, thank you, Chop. You know what I'm saying? So guys like this, man. Now, and a lot of that, and it goes to show why the NFL believes in pedigree, because you can see the influence of his dad, Mike Shanahan, longtime Broncos coach, who helped get John Elway those rings on the way out. But like, so he's took what he learned from his dad and then reworked it, rebranded it. He really should be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. As an offensive coordinator with the Falcons, and he was whooping Bill's ass, and that's another one I could have said. Peterson finished him off. Shanahan dropped Bill. Shanahan dropped Bill twice. I love boxing. Y'all know, or most of y'all know, if this was a heavyweight fight, Shanahan had Bill on the floor twice, but that was in the early rounds. You know what I'm saying? Bill dug it out, and then the 12th came in, and you know what I'm saying, and won that fight. And so, but that should have been a ring. 28-3, going down in infamy. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of that could be put on him with the play selection and play calling, but a lot of it's also got put on Devontae Freeman, who just completely whiffed or didn't even attempt to pick up a blitzer that led, whatever. I ain't going to get distracted. But anyway, I say all that to say he doesn't have the championships yet. He's been there twice. He hasn't got it done. Those Niners were in position to beat the Chiefs. Jimmy G missed a wide-open ass, naked Emmanuel Sanders for a touchdown that makes that game out of reach. Emmanuel Sanders then had nobody within 12 yards of him. And noodle arm Jimmy Garoppolo is all hopped up on Mountain Dew and cocaine and overshoots a wide open Emmanuel Sanders by about 8 yards. He ain't overshot nobody in 4 years. He's been throwing passes. Now he got a Josh Allen arm. And you know what I'm saying? So he's been a handful of plays from being a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He hasn't got there yet. And like I said, he gave the Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams, shout out to my dog Chop, he gave them Rams everything they wanted, boy. He gave them Rams everything they wanted. They thought it was sweet and it wasn't, boy. He put that thing on them twice in the regular season. And then in the playoff game, boy, he really had y'all then too if Jimmy G didn't revert back into a pumpkin from a princess and piss the bed again. You know what I'm saying? So, but that doesn't take away from y'all. Y'all had to handle y'all business and y'all went ahead and finished the deal. But I'm saying this is that's coaching. Like that's when I talk about Lafleur, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching A.A. Ron's Packers. I don't feel like I haven't seen Lafleur's Packers yet. Oh, that's Shanahan's Niners. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Like I said, they 4-12, bro. That's gonna be a hard ass game when you get in there. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, just like we said about the Ravens. And you know what? I'll let that carry me into my number 5, and that's where I have Harbaugh. And it's for a lot of the reasons you just said. He got there, and I think there's got to be credit given to this as well. Maybe not just as hard as it is to rebuild a losing franchise. Getting there and maintaining a successful franchise with its own brand, there's also pressure to do that as well. Because when he goes to Baltimore, bro, you got to live up to that Baltimore standard. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore has a brand of football. You know what I'm saying? And you have to maintain that. Now, that football is still – that brand is defense and running the ball. That's still Ray Lewis's defense. That defense, the names have changed, but that scheme, that's still Ray Lewis's defense. But that offense, like you said, has completely changed. Now, the philosophy is still run the ball. They still run for more yards at attempt than anybody in the league. That hasn't changed since the beginning of Baltimore in 96 when they came over from Cleveland. So that's still always been the same, but to do it a different way, you know what I'm saying, now doing it on the back of Lamar Jackson as opposed to Jamal Lewis, you know what I'm saying, back in them early 2000 years, Willis McGahee, Ray Rice, you know what I'm saying, and some of these other guys. So now it looks different, but it's still that same brand of football. And to be so competitive and so consistently competitive year in and year out, and he has won a Super Bowl, beat his brother for a Super Bowl. Bro, imagine talking shit to your brother when you done whooped him. You know what I'm saying? When you ain't nothing he can say to you. And your little brother too. So, you know,
that'd be
you
like,
know what I mean?
That's like me and you meeting the Super Bowl. I swear I'll be up, boy. Hey, boy, we done told your ass
you ain't got to worry about that. You already know better. You know you ain't got to worry about that.
We done told your ass up before.
Play it too safe. Chop gonna play it too safe because Chop gonna have Jimmy G at quarterback.
No. First off, he ain't even my guy. I don't know like Jimmy.
No, you gonna have Alex Smith. You gonna have Alex Smith at quarterback because he ain't gonna lose the game. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very conservative. Yeah.
We're gonna win the Super Bowl.
But nah, man. But he's won the Super Bowl. His winning percentage is there as well. He's just right around 61%, 609, so 61%. And when I start looking at these numbers, man, once you get above 60, like that's kind of the tier of win percentage for like upper echelon coaching. You know what I'm saying? And that's Shanahan doesn't have that. He's at 48 below, but he had to, get in and rebuild kind of a dilapidated 49ers franchise. But anyway, getting back to Harbaugh, man, you already hit a lot of the main points. I ain't got to get too deep, but 5 and 6, man, is where I've got Shanahan and Harbaugh, and for those reasons I gave you, man. So there we go. What you think, man? My 5 and 6.
I like it, man, and I know you already talked about John Harbaugh, so I respect that one. You only a pick off on that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you only a pick off.
Cause it was like, man, it was hard. Like I was like, okay, I got to the top 5. Like, man, I think you gotta have a little jewelry to be in the top 5, man. That's what I told myself. I was like, man, you gotta have a little jewelry.
Hey,
if you're gonna sit at the big table, you gotta have a little bag on you.
That's another part that goes into the coaching too, and that's very important. Is you gotta have the players too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these players, you gotta have the guys to get it done. If you ain't got the guys, man, you could be one of the best coaches in the world, and it just won't play out. You'll be competitive, but you gotta have the guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's one part of it.
Hey, real quick, Say So dropped the list in here with the teams of the coaches he would rank. But hey, Say So, hey, is that the order you would rank them in?
He said it's not the order. He said no order. He just
okay. I'm gonna read the list when we finish though, Brad, and see what people think about it. I'm gonna read your list, but I want to know if it was in order or not.
Okay, got you. So far I got a lot of teams that he got. It's a couple interesting teams on here, but we'll like you said.
Hey, that's what he got a couple in there, boy. It's like, okay, we need to talk about it.
We'll probably jump into those. Chris, what's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you for joining in, tuning in with us, bro. Let's go into my number 5. My number 5, Tom back in the building. My number 5 is L.A. Rams, Sean McVay. Okay? L.A. Rams, Sean McVay. And who knows, man? I may be a little bit more critical on him than some other people.
Hey, time out real quick. I was waiting to see where McVay was on your list, bro. Cause you was on that boy neck last season now, boy. Hey, you had called him out, bro. So I'm glad to see, that you in, jump the gun on the recency bias. I respect it.
The thing is, man, he did something. Let me just break it down, man. I'm gonna break it down like this. Sean McVay, man. Sean McVay came over to the Rams, in 2017, and he was a guy who instantly turned it around. His very first year, you talking about a team that was middle to lower half of the league for
Jeff Fisher was good for 8
time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been a Rams fan since I can remember. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you which year. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever I started liking football, I was a Rams fan. That's just the way it was. Since we was in St. Louis. But I was on a long trip, bro. After we won that Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? That was the 2000, 99, 2000.
Yeah, 99, 2000.
After we won that Super Bowl, man, it's been a long time, bro. It's been a long
y'all took over with cash money. Man, y'all took over with cash money,
losing,
bro.
Man. We was losing. You know what I'm saying? I watched Kurt Warner, get traded away. I watched Marshall Faulk get old in front of my face. You know what I'm saying? I watched Torrey Hope get old and get traded to the Jaguars. I watched a lot of football. So for Sean McVay to come along and immediately, I'm Mark Bolger as I started quarterback for Jimmy Garoppolo.
You still disrespecting Steven Jackson. I was waiting on you to shout out Steven Jackson. Come on, man. Because Steven Jackson might be one of the most underrated backs in the history of football, man.
Because I was mentioning things that made me upset. Steven Jackson, I like Steven Jackson. I never said I didn't like him, but he wasn't the best running back in Rams history like you did.
No, not the best, but he need more respect though, bro. Because Eric Dixon is still the best. We go ahead.
Hey, Steven Jackson was a dog. But either way, Sean McVay came over and changed his franchise immediately, man. First year goes 11-5, and you can see the difference in that offense. The way the offense was ran, the way we was doing things. I mean, we see the way that everybody's looking at Jared Goff now, but Jared Goff, you couldn't tell me that he wasn't worth that first overall pick. You know what I'm saying? That first couple of years playing. You know what I'm saying? The way the offense looked, you know what I'm saying? How he orchestrated it, how things were ran, how things were looking tricky, and just his creativeness in that offense. He is an example of one of those young guys that I say, hey, we need guys like this to sauce up the league. And that's what he did. He came, sauced up the league, did all the things that he needed to do, was bold, was courageous. He is still a coach that he pushes to go make those bold moves. Let's move this money around. Let's bring some of these guys in. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of being a good head coach that a lot of people don't get that. We talking GM stuff now, but to allow
being partnered with a team that's just as out of the box thinking as you are. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. So to be able to
Hey,
do
that's
that,
Les Snead, ain't it? Ain't Les Snead our guy? Shout out to Les Snead, bro. Les Snead print money in the back, man. I'm waiting for somebody to catch him.
Hey, he moving and grooving that bread, boy. He moving that bread.
For sure.
But like Jared said, yes, bro, that was some hurtful years. But for him to come in, turn everything around, and show his creativeness and do all the things that we needed to see in the Rams. Hey, man, I was excited about that, man. And he showed each and every year shows that he's continuing to grow. Now, getting to the parts that we were kind of criticizing him about is certain times in this decision making when it comes to when he's going against some of those top guys, which is the reason why I don't have some of those guys ahead of him when we talk about him. But when it comes to going against some of those top guys, some of his decisions, man, they leave a little bit to be desired, and it's a little questionable at times. But overall, man, you can't take nothing away from him. I watch every single game, every single quarter, every single minute. So of course, I'm gonna see all the bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see all the good too. So whenever they do something, yeah, I'm hard on them. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what they're capable of. So that's why I kind of came down on him the way that I did. But I still think he's a really good coach, one of the better coaches in the league, and has shown that, you know, he's here to stay. You know, he's going to continue to try to make moves and make changes and do the things he needs to do to be a successful coach in the league, man. So I got him in my number 5 spot.
Okay. And you know what?
And I imagine, I imagine you got some else you want to talk about that. But I'm gonna bring me into my number 4, his big brother. Yeah. Let's bring me to number 4.
His big disrespect. The disrespect. Hey, that's foul, bro. Hey, that's foul.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
He the little boy, though, man. Hey, he doesn't look Shanahan. Hey, Shanahan done little boy that boy for a few years now. You're right, bro.
Kyle Shanahan is my number 4 coach, man. Kyle Shanahan, like you said, best offensive mind in football, period.
Hey, like, there we go, man. Look at my dog learning something, man.
Best offensive mind in football, period. And I think he's the one who has the most grasp on his team. Like, if you had to pick a team that has the most of their coach's personality, I think the 49ers have more. That team has more of their coach personality than any other team in the league. Ooh. Meaning he has his grasp on the way he moves things around. Like it's him. Like, it's almost like he's playing a chess game. He's moving pieces around. He's doing what he needs to do to get to that checkmate point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm thinking about that.
He's came up short.
No. I feel you on that, but I think Bill is one because the Patriot way, that's all Bill. Like, yeah, so I think Bill, but I did what you're saying though, for sure. Yeah, I did what you're saying.
The Patriot way, but as far as like moving those pieces around, like you said, like that was a good point when you brought up Debo, man. Debo Samuel, he's a good receiver. He's a great athlete. He's a dog. I said this before. He's a dog, but he's not the guy to say, hey, go line up at X. And no matter what route you run, you know he's going to be open. He's not that guy. So what he did was, with the lack of talent he had, with the injuries, with Jimmy Garoppolo, you know what I'm saying? He has took that team to the playoffs, put them in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He's done a lot of those great things. Now, I understand, you know, you brought up the Atlanta Falcons and the 28-3, you know what I'm saying? But my guy wasn't head coach then. You know what I'm saying? He was a head coach with the 49ers. And as a head coach, man, he has done just about everything that you can ask a head coach to do with the situation he's been given, and being able to put his hand in that particular offense, move things around, orchestrate this team to the tough team you see today. And the difference between him and Sean McVay to me is when they get in those big games against each other, Kyle Shanahan just seemed more on point with everything, with his calls, with his decision makings, and things like that. And also giving him credit against that Green Bay Packers team with Matt Lafleur. Like, that was another game. Like, Kyle Shanahan, even he's lost a couple, but he's orchestrated some great game plans where they came out on top. You know what I'm saying? That was an ugly, nasty game. You know what I'm saying? And he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He was on point that game. And they did what they needed to do with a quarterback that couldn't put the ball in the end zone. He said, you know what? I'm going to figure out ways to get my dogs the ball and get my defensive guys involved, go block this punt, get that touchdown, and I'm going to run this ball down their throat with Debo, you know what I'm saying? And use my dogs and Kittle to block. all of those type of things, man. Man, Kyle Shanahan is nice when it comes to that coaching game, man. And I think that if he gets that guy, his quarterback.
Hey, we'll see if your boy Trey Lance is it now. Hey, we'll see. We'll see if your boy Trey Lance is it.
So that's my number 4, man, Kyle Shanahan.
No, and hey, I agree completely, man. And you know what? What's funny is I had Shanahan at 4 as well, but then kind of like I was saying before, I was like, man, it was gonna go because I had it as well. Shanahan, McVay, Harbaugh. And then I was like, bro, the two guys here in front of that ring.
He needs some jewelry.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let him jump the line. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I had to put him at 6. But no, man, I agree. Like I said, with just about everything you said for Shanahan, man. So, and I think we said some of the similar things as well when I talked about him as well. So I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. And then the timing on that is perfect because now that takes me to my number 4, and that's where I got McVay. And for a lot of the reasons you already said, man, came in, hit the league like a thunderstorm. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely was. He was fresh blood for the whole league. You know what I'm saying? So he really changed the line of thinking on going out. He kind of established a trend where like you want to get the next new under the radar offensive guy. Like he was under Kyle Shanahan in Washington. Where they started together in the early RG3 days when Shanahan was over there. He was under Shanahan then, and then they both, you know what I'm saying, branched out. But no, man, just a prodigy. Most people tell you a savant, whatever nice fancy words you want to say about a guy that just sees and just understands and digests football just differently. I feel like he sees football differently than just about everybody else. Like if you like in interviews, you hear him talking. People like there's been several instances people throw out random games and random drives. And he'll tell you the drive, the third quarter after the second timeout in week 14, and he'll line it out to the touchdown. You know, so just the way his mind works, man, the way he sees football is special. And then, like you said, man, the things he did, getting the Rams kind of over that hump of mediocrity, getting them to the verge of a championship. I'm not going to talk. He's another one, man. They had Bill and the Patriots on the ropes. Goff missed. Brandon Cooks wide open in the end zone on the right side of the field. It was at the right, like near the right half of the end zone from like 30 yards. He was open. One of those wrong waving you. And by the time Goff saw him, he don't have an arm to laser it in there. Josh Allen would have hit that. That's a touchdown. Y'all had a ring earlier. But Goff saw it just a second late. He throws it, and his arm just ain't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's respectable, but it ain't special. And it gave enough time for Jason McCourty, not Devin McCourty. Jason McCourty peeled off of somebody else. It came and like dove, and his fingertips deflected it, and that was Super Bowl for y'all. Y'all would have won that game. So yeah, and then from being at the mountaintop right there. So I think that was his second year, wasn't it? That was his second year that y'all went to the Super Bowl, wasn't it, against the Patriots? Or was that the first year? I believe so. It was early on, but so he arguably could have had a championship there. He doesn't. And then that team does take a step or two back. They have to kind of reload and revamp. He goes out. Now, this is a team where some of these franchises, that's why I argue, like, you know what I'm saying, they built it, they didn't buy it. The Rams went out. The Rams are the Lakers. The Rams to go out and pay for any star that's willing to come to LA. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to make it happen when you get them in the building. And so that's why I still give him credit, because we've seen dream teams before. We remember the Eagles with Vic and Vince Young and or whatever, and you are Deshaun and all those guys. They start calling themselves dream team because they had all these superstar weapons, and it couldn't come together. You know what I'm saying? So you still gotta bring it together. And you still gotta make it work, and you still gotta win. And they finally did that, man. They get over the hump this year. They get that ring. So he's got that. He's young into his career. His winning percentage is the highest of whoever's remaining on my list. He's actually the second highest on my list at all. It's 679, so right around 68%. And so, like I said, I definitely think offensively, now he's a guy, the offense is his baby, and I think you do see like his style or brand of football, because mind you, like I said, he came up under Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? He was Shanahan's prodigy. His offense looks nothing like Shanahan though, so it's still his own imprint. And now he's got his own tree. Matt Lafleur, who made your list, He's off of the McVay tree. You know what I'm saying? Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. He hasn't been mentioned yet. I don't know if he's going to get mentioned, but he's another guy that came up under McVay. So you've got a guy who's a young coach. He's been coaching 5 years. He's been to two Super Bowls. He's won one, and he's already dropping seeds around the league as well, starting his own tree. So so you got to respect it. But like I said, so I prefer Shanahan to McVay, but for the purposes of ranking it, that's why I had Shanahan below him. But I agree with everything all the stuff you said, though. Skinny in the building. What's going on, man? He said he's late, but he's here. Hey, you already know, man. Hey, it's just like church, bro. Better late than never. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you just had time to catch this plate when it come around to you, my boy. So you all good? Yeah, sit down and get comfortable. But and just like he said, man, shout out to Real Deal STL Sports in the building, man, for sure. Tap in with my dog, man, if y'all haven't already, for sure. That's going to take me to my number 3, man. This is where I got my dog, man. This is where I got Mike T, man. This is where I got Ice Mike Tomlin, man, coming in at number 3. And this guy is probably one of the most disrespected. Bro, I've seen so many coaching lists come out, like in the last week and a half or so. Half the list didn't have him listed at all in the top 10. He didn't make some lists I saw had him around middling, 6, 7, 8. Some of the lists didn't even have him listed at all. And that was honestly one of the things, man, because I started doing these lists. And that's when we got to talk man, we do coaches, right? It was fresh on my mind. I was already doing it for myself anyway. But honestly, consistency, bro. Him and Harbaugh are similar because they went to organizations that already have an established identity and an established history. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Steelers more so than the Ravens. The Ravens had an established brand of football, but not necessarily a championship pedigree. They had won one in the early 2000s, but not a history of championship success. And so that could be a lot to deal with, especially when he got there. Bill Cowher had just left on the heels of the Super Bowl. And then he gets back to a Super Bowl in his second year, just like McVay, and actually won that Super Bowl. My favorite Super Bowl of all time. You know what I'm saying? It was us and the Cardinals, but I still say two of the top 10 Super Bowl moments ever are in that Super Bowl. James Harrison's pick 6 before halftime and Big Ben's pass that said I think those 2 plays in any Super Bowl are top 10 plays. And then I think Eli Manning's got the helmet catch and also that pass up the left sideline to not Plexico Burress, but the other dude. But, we can get in that later. That might be a good list. Top 10 Super Bowl moments. Because that's 4 right there that I think make my 10 for sure. Philly special. You know what I'm saying? That's 5. Hey, bro, I might think about that. That might be an article or something. But anyway, man, so he was really the first McVay. A super young coach comes in, gets a head coach job. Now, McVay broke his record. Well, at the time, McVay broke his record as being the youngest head coach being hired by an organization. Tomlin had that. And then like McVay, I think McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 years. Is one of the things that I saw when I was reading up on him. Tomlin went to 2 Super Bowls in his first 4. And then just like McVay, he's 1-1. And then McVay won 1, lost 1, and Tomlin did as well. And so the difference in why I've got Tomlin ahead of McVay is because their championship pedigree is the same. They're both 1-1. They both went to 2 Super Bowls very early. You know what I'm saying? Now, the difference with Tomlin is he has maintained some style of competitive consistency. We had some years we came close. We ran into Jordan's Bulls, bro. A lot of the bulk of Tomlin's coaching tenure has been playing in the middle of Michael Jordan's Bulls. We ran into prime Tom Brady and the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? And they were the guys that knocked us out of the playoffs a lot of years, AFC Championship and divisional. And so, and those a lot of years that they go in and win. And so not to say that we have those same championships that they have, but I think we have more appearances. But anyway, but still, with all that said and done, his winning percentage is still there. It's at 64%, 643, higher than a lot of the guys we've already said on the list, higher than the guy that's going to come up on both our lists, I'm assuming. And so, like I said, finding a way to still maintain competitiveness with an organization that does have such a high standard, getting last year's teams to the playoffs, just making the playoffs was a feat. 2 years ago, with the 4th string quarterback who was an undrafted free agent, Duck Hodges, we won 10 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they'd have had 7 playoff teams that year like they did this year, we'd have been in the playoffs that year. We missed it on a play-in from somebody else. The Chargers, I think, won instead of losing or whatever it was, and that kept us out that year with Duck Hodges at quarterback. And you know what I mean? So I think another thing I think you had said earlier about, I think you said this about Lafleur, how you manage turmoil in the organization. Nobody knew Antonio Brown was crazy for a decade until he left. AB's been the same guy. This is what everybody's finding out. Ryan Clark will tell you, AB's not acting different. This been AB the whole time. But nobody knew because of the way that Tomlin was able to handle it and keep it from combusting for as long as he did. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's also a testament of like coaching prowess, you know what I'm saying? Like managing the locker room, keeping things from imploding or exploding, because we see that happen so many more times before. And then, like I said, doing that at a measure to where, like I said, you're still competing at a very consistent level, man. No losing seasons. I didn't even want to really mention to getting to that, because you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like some of those seasons that we didn't have losing seasons, very well they should have been or could have been, but they wasn't. So that is what it is. But I will give it to him because it is a feather in his hat. No losing seasons, 15 years running now, I think. We'll put that to the test again this year. But I said enough about my dog, but that's where I got my dog, man. Ice Mike, man. That's Coach Tomlin, man. That's Mike T coming in at number 3 for your boy, man. What you think?
Gotcha. Hey, I like it, Willie Jack. The standard.
Hey, Skinny, we in the top 5 now. Skinny, my fault. My bad. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna say the standard is the standard, Willie Jack. You know what I'm saying? Sis, what's going on with you? And I appreciate you joining in here, man. I wish you to, hollered at my dog before the show started, got him right. You know what I'm saying? But hey.
I know, man. She got other other customers and everything. I called her earlier. She said she with a customer. I'm like, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
Will in the building. B Will for seeing you in the building. What's going on, my dog? Yeah, man. Yeah, B Will. Oh, matter of fact, he was seeing you before you got there, bro. He was a receiver. That boy was cold. Matter of fact, I played him in high school as well, boy. Hey, yeah, they touched us up pretty good. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm glad he was gone before I got there, because he'd have ran into some clamps. That's probably what would have happened. Hey, but shout out to you, though, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's my dog. Yeah, B Will in the building. Man.
But yeah, man, the standard is the standard, man. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And Mike Tomlin is my number 3. It's gonna roll me right into it. You know what I'm saying? He's my number 3 as well. And
okay.
He still hasn't had a losing season. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about adversity. You know, a coach going through adversity with all the different things he has to face. You know, whether it's the turmoil in the building, whether it's the team changes, and all those different things. Whether it's going like John Harbaugh is a coach on this list, right? We went over his career, how long he's been there, how many winning seasons he's had. He's in the same division as Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin has yet to have a losing season. You know what I'm saying? You know who was not only were y'all running up against Mike Jordan and the Bulls, you know what I'm saying, over there with the Patriots, you know what I'm saying, but you was running up against Ray Lewis, you know what I'm saying, the Ravens for years. For sure. You know what I'm saying, that team and how good that team has been over the years. So that the Ravens have that standard, and they've set that standard for that particular team. But then also the Steelers too. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they rivalries, because they know each and every year I know who I got to get through, to get out this division. Go ahead. What you been saying?
And in fairness, we've probably stopped Baltimore from winning a couple championships. So just like I said, the Patriots have stopped us. We've stopped Baltimore because for a lot of years, just like you and the Niners, we had to play Baltimore 3 times a year, bro, for like 8 years straight.
Yeah.
And every game, it was like a record where it was like maybe either 8 years or 8 games in a row where every game was decided by less than a field goal. Yeah. Everyone, bro, for like 8 years or 6 years, something crazy. And a lot of those games were in the playoffs, bro, and we knocked them out more times than we didn't. So we probably kept Baltimore from getting a couple more rings.
Yeah, man. And you talk about coaching at its finest, man. You talking about you having to go out weekend, year in and year out to scheme up against. All right, how Ray Lewis is on the other side of that ball. You know what I'm saying? How do we get him out of place to where we can run this ball? I got Ed Reed sitting there in the back. You know what I'm saying? How do we out scheme him so where we can pass this ball down the field? You know what I'm saying? On the other side of the ball, I got this offense. They run the ball. Their scheme is different. How do we stop them? Like, you talking about coaching at the highest level. These are dog fights. And AFC, the Baltimore Ravens and Steelers brand of football is that physicality, X's and O's, get down and dirty, some hard-nosed football games. You talking about having to be on point at every single moment. And the majority of these games going down to the wire, being able to be on point in the most precious moments of those games, man, it's a lot that goes into that. And that's just breaking it down a little bit. Willie already kind
Yeah.
of touched broadly on a lot of the things that Mike Tomlin did, man. But one of the best in the business, you know what I'm saying? And I actually went back and forth on moving him up and down this list because for me, it ain't just about the rings. You know what I'm saying? I get the rings, I get the jury, I understand that. But for me, it's about, all right, what you got to work with. All right, what you gonna do when you face adversity? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do in this situation? Like, how much can you handle as a head coach? You know what I'm saying? The head coach is we talked about this last week. It's probably the hardest job, and it's the most expendable. They getting rid of the head coach like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
You
exactly.
get 2-3 years max. You know what I'm saying?
Man, probably got to be out of here, boy. He better hope Baker find that magic or he gone.
Man, to prove that you can do something in this league as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got that long, and you got to prove it. You got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to stay on your toes, and it's just tough, man. It's tough, and this is, he may have had the toughest road, I would say, of all the coaches that are on my list. You know what I'm saying? So I got Mike Tomlin. The standard is a standard, and my number 3 spot, man.
Standard is the standard. My dog. Hey, I appreciate you, Mo. Boy, you did all right today.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And Brian mentioned too. He said, "Don't forget the Big Ben scandals," and he took y'all to the Super Bowl through those times. Yeah, man, and that was some of the things we mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a fact, bro.
For sure.
That's a fact.
Which brings me to my number 2 guy, man. My number 2 guy comes from right up Highway 70, man. If you don't know, I'm in St. Louis, man. So right up Highway 70, man, you get to a place they call Kansas City, you know, where a few of my partners live, man. And I'm going to go with Andy Reid, man. Andy Reid is also one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, man. And if it's one thing we know, Andy Reid likes speed. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing he always, you know what I'm saying, strays towards. He ends up getting speed, but he knows what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? He's able to be more creative, put people in places to where they can be successful and use that speed. And also, just to list off his accomplishments. I mean, we already know, man. He's been 9 seasons with the Chiefs and made the playoffs 8 times. You know what I'm saying? Out of his 22 seasons, been to the playoffs 17 times. Got a Super Bowl, 2 AFC championships with the Chiefs. And, man, he's just had a long – huh?
Oh, no. 4 NFC championship games. They only won 1, but yeah.
So he has a long and successful career. If you just look at the numbers like that. You know what I'm saying? That's already – 17 out of 22 seasons, you in the playoffs. That's a long, successful career, man, and he's done an awesome job. But also, I want people to understand, like, his ability to scout talent and be bold and make the moves that he's making. Nobody saw Patrick Mahomes busting onto the scene, you know what I'm saying, the way that he did. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He made the move to say, you know what, let's go on and get rid of Alex out of here. And which Alex wasn't a bad quarterback. They were a playoff team. You know what I'm saying?
No, they were a team.
So they were a team in the mix. So for him to go ahead and make that move and say, you know what? Hey, we're a playoff team, but we can be better. Let's go with this guy right here. Nobody's seen him. Let's go and make these moves. Let's go. And the way he bust onto the scene, he's seen it. He's seen it. You know what I'm saying? Before it happened. You know what I'm saying? JaVale, what's going on with you, bro? He's seen it before it happened. He put it into place, and he puts guys into places where they look better. Jeremy Maclin outside of the Eagles and Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? What did he do? You know what I mean?
Bro, did Maclin play outside of the Eagles, bro? And that's
that's what I'm saying. Jeremy Maclin outside. You look at guys like McCole Hardman, you know what I'm saying? And what's the guy? Robinson that's playing with the Chiefs now. I'm anxious to see what he's gonna do with Valdez-Scantling. The guys like that. I think he's gonna make some noise with these guys. Of course not. Now we're not gonna get into the Tyreek Hill stuff. But Andy Reid is clearly one of the best coaches in this league. His years of success has proven that, and he's going to continue to be that. He's going to continue to do what he does for this team, and they're going to be great, man. So Andy Reid falls in at number 2 for me.
Okay. So it looks like our top 3 is going to be the same 3 then, man. So I'll follow in, piggyback off you, man. I got Andy at number 2 as well. Everything you said, man. I was a big fan of of Andy Reid's Eagles back in the day, bro. Like, well, I really like Brian Dawkins, but I did like those teams. I love when they finally got T.O. I always felt like Andy was a much better, like, when we think about Andy now, and like his name is already stamped, you know what I'm saying? He one of the ones now, so ain't nobody gonna question it. But we do forget how hard the media and football circles were on Andy with those Eagles years. where they went to 4 straight NFC championship games. They lost 3 of them, and then they get T.O., and then they go to the Super Bowl, and then they end up losing to the Patriots. T.O. with a broken leg still broke them balls off, though, for like $1.30 in the tub.
He got busy.
Busy. With the broken leg, it got busy. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the even like I liked Andy. I liked what he did. I like Brian Westbrook. I wasn't a huge McNabb fan, but I liked McNabb. But I really liked that defense, and I can't think of that damn coordinator's name. It's driving me crazy, but I like that defense, and so I watched the Eagles. But back then, when I used to argue and debate football back then, talking about Andy Reid, people would always throw in like lack of like not getting over the hump, all these NFC championships and not getting to the Super Bowl. And I would always tell them, bruh, he's got what was those receivers? Thrash, Pinkerton, and
Pinkston.
Oh yeah, Pinkston, Thrash, and somebody else, bro. Before they got T.O., I'm like, bro, who's he got to work with? You know what I'm saying? Like the coach got Peyton and Marvin Harrison. You know what I'm saying? Like
which year is what you talking about? Because Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator in 2010 for the Eagles.
This is earlier than that. This is like 2000 to 2005.
Okay. Well,
this is back. This is I know. Yeah, like Brian Dawkins. I think Javon Curse might have been there over for Tennessee. LeVar Arrington came over for a little while. They had this dude Hugh Douglas. They had that big ass middle linebacker that you thinking
Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson, there he is. Jim Johnson, bro. Jim Johnson was the guy that McDermott came up under. Yeah, Jim Johnson. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Jim Johnson. But nah, man. So like I said, I respected Andy's coaching back then. I never understood when Philly let him go. You know what I'm saying? Like he needed. Andy was a guy, I think, ahead of his time a little bit. Like he just didn't like some players, some coaches are able to match with a player and just really take off. Like Andy, this Kansas City offense is Philly's offense, but now he's got the right guy calling it. He's got the right guy at the trigger. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to deal with Donovan McNabb and he had to deal with Alex Smith, but his offense never could reach the potential it was because he didn't have that guy. He needed a special guy to work a special offense, and now he's got that with Patty, and so now we see like Andy ain't changed these plays. Andy came over with Doug Peterson and Frank Reich, the same guys he had for 10 years in the Philly, and they just brought over this offense. You know what I'm saying? Like now he just has the guy that can fully maximize what he's been trying to do for 20 years now. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to Andy Reid, man. He's another guy, top offensive mind in football. Like I said, I prefer Shanahan. I would probably go Shanahan. I'm not going to lie. If Sean Payton was still coaching, I would probably still give the edge to Sean Payton, and then I would go Andy Reid as far as offensive mind. But listen to me, though, because Sean Payton, who was Drew Brees before Sean Payton? I'll tell you who he was. I don't want y'all to hurt yourself. Drew Brees was the guy who lost his job to Phillip Rivers. That's who Drew Brees was, period. I don't want to hear it. Not saying that Drew Brees would have been great or he could have been great, but no, Sean Payton gave us the guy we know as Drew Brees. That's the brainchild of Sean Payton. We seen him with Rivers, or we seen him with the Chargers. Now he did get injured, but before the injury, he didn't set the league on fire. He wasn't that guy. Now also there was I shouldn't say that's unfair. I got to talk about stuff y'all don't know about, man. I got to talk about the offensive scheme, the coach they had that came over from Kansas City for all that years, and he was a run the ball 3 years in a cloud of dust type of dude, which is why LT got off like that when anyway. But I said I to say, man, really like and respect Andy Reid, man, and I've been a fan of his for a while. I'm glad he finally got his Super Bowl. He could have had 2 if D Ford, if B Will stood in here. If your boy D Ford didn't line up in the damn neutral zone, they beat the Patriots Patty's first year and they go to that Super Bowl. And then, man, imagine that Chiefs versus Eagles, Andy Reid versus the student Doug Peterson, and how explosive and fun those offenses were. Imagine if they'd got to play each other, but D4 lines up in the neutral zone. Tom Brady throws an interception that history forgets, and then they go on and lose to the Eagles in that Super Bowl. But anyway, Andy Reid at number 2, which brings me to my number 1. And I'm sure you
tag team this, man. You just want to go on tag.
Oh yeah, tag team it is, man. Big Bill Belichick, man. 6 Super Bowl rings, 720 batting average, man. The man wins 72% of his games. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Well, I'll start now. Okay, so here's the thing about Bill, man. Now, also, this is just head coaching chops. We're not even talking about his just coaching pedigree or coaching prowess or championship prowess totally, because he was also instrumental in those late 80s, early 90s New York Giants teams. He's the guy. He's the mad scientist that found a way to get LT to let LT wreak terror on the league and rebrand the face of football. Like, that was Bill crafting that defense to take advantage of the things that LT could do. You know what I'm saying? So Bill's been getting in for a long time, man. Did his thing. Had an ugly stint with the Browns. Went to the Jets. Then the Patriots job came open. He walked out on the Jets job the day he was supposed to start, and then goes to the Patriots and Bill's a winner, man. Bill's a winner. 6 championships, or you can call it 3 and 3, 3 for him, 3 for Tom. You know what I'm saying? But really, I'm not trying to get too deep. I'm gonna let you talk, but really showed and set the standard for coaching in the modern era of football. You know what I'm saying? So I think historically, he's on the Mount Rushmore of coaches, and I think he's jumped those guys that came up from him. He's jumped Vince Lombardi. He's jumped Tom Landry. He's jumped Joe Gibbs. He's jumped Chuck Noll. He's ahead of all those guys. I think it starts with Bill Belichick now, and then you'll get into, Lombardi, Tom Landry, Joe Gibbs. What's the old boy down in with the Dolphins? Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't know about that stuff that way, man. We'll do something on historical coaches at school, y'all, man. Y'all probably don't know these names. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man. So Bill, man, really came in and really revolutionized. Well, I'm not going to see – everybody wants to mimic the Patriot way. And we kind of touched on it a minute ago where we was talking about Kyle Shanahan really having his imprint on the team and some Pete Carroll established his imprint. Nobody has as firm an imprint on an organization from top to bottom as Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's so respected, so proven that it doesn't matter who shows up, everybody – like, Bill doesn't have out – AB wasn't tripping in New England. AB went to Oakland for a week and almost burnt the building down. AB was chilling in New England, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys respect Bill, and like I said, and he sets that tone and sets that standard, man. And like I said, man, when we talk about coaching, it gets none better than Bill Belichick, man. That's Big Bill.
Just too. What you looking for, man? I don't know where it's at, man. I don't know where it's at. Go ahead, Jake. I'll get you in a minute. So look, check this out. For those who don't know, that's Young Chop. That's Lil Chop that just stepped into the building, man. He getting ready to get laid on down, man. But I agree with everything you said, Willie Jack. And a lot of people, you may even have a lot of people that just say, I don't know if Bill Belichick is that good because they had the quote unquote the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? The guy.
Man, he got there. Yeah.
The guy running the show. But there's one thing that people, need to realize, with this particular situation. Bill Belichick is a defensive guy. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a defensive guy. When Tom Brady won those championships, that defense was nice. You know what I'm saying? Even through the years as players changed, there's a certain thing that Bill Belichick does, and it's always nice. He always has guys that can stop the run, create pressure, and he has that top corner. You know what I'm saying? Each and every – as you go through the years, he's always found it and got it. It started with your boy Ty Law. You know what I'm saying? My boy Ty Law. Yeah. And it developed into, Asante Samuels, the Stephon Gilmore's. They brought the Real Revis over for a couple of years. And then, J.C. Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it's a formula that he has that he continues to use, that continues to work. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, though, we've seen seasons where multiple seasons, where he's been without Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Of course, most recently, these last 2 years, this past year with a rookie, he went 10-7. You know what I'm saying? Went to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And then the years back, we all remember that Matt Castle year where they won 11-5. Now they missed the playoffs, but 11-5.
Any other year, that's a playoff team. That was a very weird year.
I'm going 11-5 before the season started. Oh, okay, cool. I'm in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anybody would think that, and it just didn't work out that way. Just the way that it was set up, and so on and so forth. But then going into like the intricacies of football, like Who do you know? Name a coach, man. And it may be one out there. I think we talked about this before. They can orchestrate a 3-pass game and go get a W. You know what I'm saying? Against a Bills team who is a Super Bowl contender. You know what I'm saying? With Big Josh Allen.
That's fact, bro. Hey, that's fact.
Who do you know can put that together the way that they did and go out there and get that W in the game? They throw 3 passes. 3. That's it, the whole game, and he orchestrated the game plan to where we go out in there and win. If you say that before a game, if you go out there and say, all right, today we're only going to throw 3 passes, what we going to do then, coach? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And especially in today's age with the way the game is played. And just the overall success, man, his the way that he does things, and the consistencies, you know, of winning records and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick, man. You got to go with Bill Belichick as the best, man. And he continues to show that. And I feel like this past year was an example of that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have as much of a talent. I mean, even the year before that, they were still competitive with the horrible play of Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cam Newton was playing some terrible. I know that's your boy, but he still showed that, all right, we can be competitive. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what we have, we're going to put something together to make this thing work. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he's been able to do that over the years, you know what I'm saying, regardless of who he's at. So, Bill Belichick, man, going into this year, he's the number one guy I got as well.
No, for sure, man. And I think we touched on it a bit earlier, the model of disciplined football. Bill Belichick's teams will never beat themselves. Like, you have to beat a Belichick team. You know what I'm saying? Like, some teams will beat themselves. My Steelers, we beat ourselves against the Patriots. The Ravens have beat themselves against the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? These are top teams. You know what I'm saying? So, when mistakes are made in a game, it's very rarely that the mistakes come from Belichick's side. You know what I mean? So, and there's another credit to Belichick is not only will you make a mistake and he doesn't, he'll capitalize on your mistake as well.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can. It's one thing not to make a mistake, which is commendable, and then there's another thing to capitalize on somebody else's mistake, because that doesn't always happen either. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened with Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs when they played the Dolphins a couple years ago, when Patty threw 4 interceptions in the first half, and I think the Dolphins turned it into 10 points. I don't give a damn who's behind center. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick, boy, that's a wash. That game is over. You know what I'm saying? You can't do stuff like that against a Belichick coach team, bro. And so, like I said, man, like, recency success, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's had to fall back just a little bit, but his fallback is a 10-win Mac Jones-led team with Damian Harris, and somebody name the starting receivers for the Patriots team last year. Don't nobody know. I mean, we know, but don't nobody else know. Nelson Aguilar came over from the Raiders after being a bust his whole career until he had that breakout season with the Raiders.
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, and who can't even hardly get on the field. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, just like Chop said, the names don't matter as much when you on a Bill Belichick coach team. You know what I'm saying? Because everything else is going to be, he's going to be 2 steps ahead of everybody else across the sideline for him. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be the most disciplined team, the team most prepared to play and most prepared to win every single week they play. That's an advantage. You can't put a price on that type of advantage. And so, like I said, man, I think it gets no better, man. We both in agreement, man. Bill Belichick's still that guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't let these young, you know what I'm saying, young new things come and turn y'all head, man. McVay and Andy Reid, they done got one. You know what I mean? Shanahan had been to a couple. Don't let that fool you, bro. Bill's still the guy. And y'all better hope Bill don't ever find somebody moderately decent enough to bring them back.
Gotcha,
so yeah.
Gotcha. So run your list back off to me one time, Willie.
All right, for sure, man. So going over, man. Number 1, Bill Belichick, Patriots. Number 2, Andy Reid from the Chiefs. Number 3, Ice Mike Tomlin from the Steelers. Number 4, Sean McVay from the Rams. Number 5, John Harbaugh from the Ravens. Number 6, Kyle Shanahan from the Niners. Number 7, Pete Carroll from the Seahawks. Number 8, Doug Peterson, newly of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 9, Mike Vrabel of the Titans. And my number 10 was Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills.
And running mine back down, man. My 1, 2, 3 is similar to what were the same as Willie Jackson. Number 1, Bill Belichick. 2, Andy Reid, and 3, Mike Tomlin. 4, jumped into Kyle Shanahan. 5, Sean McVay. 6, John Harbaugh. 7, Sean McDermott. 8, Frank Reich. 9, Mike Vrabel, and 10, Matt Lafleur. Willie Jack, real quick, man, real quick. Who just missed the list, man? Give me throw a couple names out there who just missed your list.
I already talked about one. So Mike Lafleur, it's Mike Lafleur, whoever he is.
I got you.
Yeah, Matt Lafleur, excuse me. Matt Lafleur was in consideration. And I'll tell you one that's kind of an eyeball one, and he doesn't have, and well, also Frank Reich was under consideration. But the one I want to mention that's an eyeball, he just doesn't have the credentials, is Kevin Stefanski. What Kevin Stefanski has done in Cleveland, and y'all can say what y'all want to about Baker Mayfield, but Kevin Stefanski has changed that team from being a laughingstock to a real deal contender. Now, I feel like sometimes the team lets him down with the injuries and just some of the play of the players and things like that. But Cleveland is not a laughingstock at all. There was years where Cleveland. There was years where Cleveland, like I said, was a literal just joke, even worse so than probably the Lions. I think the ugly days in Cleveland were even uglier than the ugly days in Detroit, or maybe because I'm in the AFC North, so I've seen it, but they were a joke. And now he's made that team. You've got to respect him. And I think that's in no small part to the job that he's done over there. And so if Deshaun Watson ever does play football again, I am curious to see just that's the most scary team to me. If Watson comes back and they're able to keep that nucleus that they have, then they scare me more than the Bengals. I'm not gonna lie, because I like their defense a lot more than Cincinnati's. You know what I'm saying? They've got real dogs on the defensive side as well to match what they can have on the offense with Watson and Cooper. And I love that two-handed running back tandem. We already talked about that. And so Kevin Stefanski, man, is a guy who he's got all the makers to be one of these next great coaches in my mind.
Got you. And a couple. There's a couple guys. I had Pete Carroll down there in that range. Ron Rivera is a guy I was thinking about, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor, but Ron Rivera probably was that person that was right there that had a real chance of sneaking into my top 10. I like what Ron Rivera has been doing over the years over there in Carolina and over there with Washington. He just had some bad breaks, man. Some tough teams. I like Stefanski as well. I think Stefanski is going to be good for some years to come. And I'm anxious to see what it's early. I'm anxious to see what Nick Sirianni is going to do, man. I want to see what he can do over there with the Eagles, man, and see if he turns into something that we can say, all right, this is a nice coach. So, and Peterson too. Peterson, he was on your list. I want to see what he does with this Jaguars team.
Yeah, and then real quick, man, I know we went a little long. Zach Taylor was another one I considered, but it's just one-off year. It just really is. He's like 10 games under 500 in this whole time. Now, some of that is circumstance. He lost Joe Burrow, et cetera, but he had that one magical year. But now now that he's on the radar, he's a guy that's in position to show that he belongs there and maybe get his name in these conversations as well.
For sure. All right, Willie Jack. What's up, man? Let me know, man. Do we get a game ball tonight, man? Do anybody get a game ball?
Man, I think we do, man. Let's see. You know what, man? What about your boy Say So, man? And you know what? I don't know if he's still in here, but he had dropped some teams. I'm gonna read them real quick. I told him I would. Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Rams, Bengals, Steelers, Pats, Ravens, Seahawks, and Titans were the 10 teams he listed as far as the coaches go. Interestingly enough, man, he's got the Lions in there. Respect to Dan Campbell for sure. What he's trying to do there, but man, that one jumped off like a sore thumb for me, man. The Lions listed in there, but I respect Dan Campbell, what he's got going on, man. Yeah, Chopper tell you, boy, I was super hard on Dan. Boy, Dan won me over, boy, as the longer the season went.
Yeah,
but I get a game about to Say So, man. Your boy Salem Eugene William Brown, boy, it's a mouthful, boy. I see why y'all call him Say So.
Well,
congratulations,
Say So, man. Congratulations, Say So, man. You got the game ball. I've been slacking a little bit, man. I'm gonna make sure I shout him out in the post if he ain't near here, man. So we're gonna make sure we do that. Yeah. But other than that, Willie Jack, hey, I think that's about it, man. I think that's about it. I think it's about time for you to bring us home, man, and let them know how much we appreciate them, and we go from there, dog.
Already, you heard what boy said, man. This brings you another one, man. Another one in the books. Top 10 coaches, man. Hope y'all enjoyed it, man. We love and appreciate all the feedback and engagement in the chat, man. Shout out to some of the membership in the building today, man. My dog Tom was in the building today. Josh Nichols came through. Miss Chop was in the building. Mom Deuce and my sister came through, man. Shout out to the support system, the home team. William White was in the building. Let me get some of these early guys, man. My little cousin Buster came through and hollered at me for a little bit, man. Jared came through and chopped it up with us in the game. Chopped us up Untitled Chapter up with us as well. Black Stuff through, Skinny came through as well. One more time for Real Deal, STL Sports in the building. Holla at them, man. Check out that page, man. A lot of stuff going on. Man, one time for Joseph Kenny, man, and No Vultures the podcast, man. My dog ain't making it tonight, but hey, that's still part of the membership, man. So shout out to him, man. Check out his page and podcast as well. That's No Vultures podcast. Appreciate all the love and support, man. I'm gonna try to keep it sweet, man. I know we try to keep it short and sweet. I know we ran a little long, but y'all know how we get down, man. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock in there like swimwear, man. We ain't going nowhere. Get here or be nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You either here or you nowhere. Boy, don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. Be here. Holla at your dogs, man. Wednesdays at 7. We will be right back. Real quick, Chop. Did you want to? Well, no, we leave it off to the next week.
Don't worry about it. I know what you're talking
about. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
For sure. Hey, so there it is, man. Another one in the books, man. Hope y'all enjoyed yourself. Holla at your dogs, man. Y'all know we love and appreciate everybody that comes fool with us, man. And just like that, we gone, man. Peace.